Discovering Chinese dramas in 2018 opened up a whole new world of Asian dramas to me, and I've been hooked ever since. 4 years later, Tea and Soju was born, so that I can extend my love of Chinese dramas and Asian dramas in general to others out there and find a community. So, sit back and let's chat Asian dramas. Hello, and welcome back to the Tea and Soju C Drama Podcast, Drama Trio Edition. I'm your host, Liliana.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Caitlin.
And in this week's, the Drama Trio is going to basically wrap up the year in what we've been watching all year and what has come in on our top 5. Now, a little aside, you guys, by the time you listen to this episode, my best of the best Chinese dramas would have come out. So I'm not going to be mentioning any of my Chinese dramas. We have, a whole episode dedicated to that from last week. But, Jess and Caitlin do have some Chinese dramas, I'm sure. It's been a good Chinese drama year. So, just before we get into it, just a little bit of housekeeping. If you enjoy the podcast, please remember to subscribe and rate and share. That really does help others find the podcast. And if you'd like to further support the podcast, there is Patreon, where I do first impressions, movie reviews, and all of that. All of those links are in the description box, as well as Discord and all the socials. So that's the housekeeping. We were commenting. Jess said the magic words right before we started recording this episode, where she said she doesn't think this episode's going to run very long.
I didn't. I was like, this isn't going to be very long, right? Like, we can do it. And then Caitlin was like, knock on wood, bitch. And I'm like, okay.
I don't think it'll be interesting to see how long we're going to record this. I reckon we can keep it at least under 2 hours.
I think so, for sure, because we'll talk about it.
Surely we can keep it under 2 hours.
Let's go. So is this, first of all, I ranked mine. Like, my top 5 is ranked. Are your top 5s ranked, or is this just top 5?
Mine is ranked, Jess. Mine is ranked. In honor of you, mine are ranked.
Got it.
No, I did.
I would say my top one is ranked.
The rest are like, it's a wash. Yeah. It's a wash.
Like, because I definitely knew my top one. Like, there was nothing beating that. And then the other 4, I just was like, I can't really rate. I'll say my top 3 are ranked. My other 2 I kind of just put there.
Okay.
Because I was like, with my honorable mentions, like, you could take one out of my 4 and 5 and put in an honorable mention.
I see.
So, because I have some 2023 in my honorable mentions, and I have some others that like aren't it from 2023, but I watched this year that I wanted to mention. So I would say my top 3 are ranked.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
So, before we get into that, let's just ask a question about how was your 2023 drama watching year in general? Just like, was it a good year for you guys? Was it like, what
no. So it was not a good drama year for me. I feel like I was incredibly unfocused and focused at the same time, because I was doing so many episodes this year for Daebak that I was basically watching older shows or shows that I have already watched and rewatched for the podcast. And I wasn't dedicated to watching 2023 dramas. Not that I was particularly interested in watching 2023 dramas this year. I feel like the crop was really weak. I did the math. Like, I went on MDL and was like counting up the dramas. There were around 114 K-drama releases for 2023.
I feel like that's a lot for Korean dramas.
Yeah, it's usually around this number, like a little over 100. For a given year. And then I completed 12.
Mine's lower.
I completed 12 and I dropped 2, and I'm still watching 2. So, and then for my list of dramas that I'm mildly interested in starting that were aired in 2023, that's just 13 shows. So personally, I don't think it was a strong year. There are a lot of K-dramas that people were really excited to watch and ended up being really disappointing for a lot of people. And because I'm so like tapped into the community online and stuff, it's really easy to hear the chatter around certain shows that people are collectively dropping. Like King the Land was a giant one that people were
Oh
very
God.
disappointed about, or just experiencing secondhand people getting frustrated with the endings of shows. There were some shows like what's one? My Lovely Liar was one that people were like, I don't think this, like they were
Yeah.
getting
Yep.
more and more like about the show. A Time Called You, like that was a very, that show confused too many people and people dropped off and they didn't understand it, which it's a remake, but apparently this
Watch the
remake wasn't like,
remake.
I was gonna
Watch
say,
the original,
watch the
yes,
people.
original.
I know,
Watch
I know.
Watch
the
the
original.
original.
So there was a lot of shows that weren't the quality was down, I think, this year.
Mm,
Mhm.
Overall. So I don't think it was a good drama year. There are only a few standouts that will be remembered
yeah.
for until after 2023. But on the whole, like you're gonna look back at some of these shows and be like, oh yeah, that's right. Like that came out in 2023, or oh yeah, I remember watching that. And it's gonna start to get really fuzzy for too many of the 2023 shows. They're not
I
memorable.
I agree. I agree. And funnily enough, I was looking at like my drama list and I ordered it by year and I was going down and I was like 2016, 2017. Guys, when I tell you, I have K-drama, 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 and it's like literally just K-drama after K-drama. And then like I look at 2023 and it's like I watched 8 K-dramas. Like I completed 8
Yep.
K-dramas and that's it. And I'm
Mhm.
like, this is insanity. Like, what's happened to K-dramas? I used to adore their storytelling. I used to like love it. And then also it's the dramas that I've gravitated towards in terms of Korean dramas this year, which is changed drastically to what I usually tend to love and consume out of
Right.
Korea.
Mhm.
So that's interesting. I would say I would agree for me in terms of like Korean dramas, it's not really been a great year. If you follow me on the podcast, you know, if I've talked about this before. It, you know, I've just haven't been connecting with them for a good while.
Mhm.
Because for me, Chinese dramas, brilliant year. They've had a like
Yes. Yeah.
amazing year, but K dramas just don't seem to have, you know, hit that
Mhm.
mark, so
Yeah.
to speak. And actually, I've been really enjoying Japanese dramas. I've been watching a lot more Japanese dramas this year than I have previously, so that's been interesting. What about you, Caitlin? Like, what has been the drama year like for you?
So I've had a really weird year just because with the SAG-AFTRA strikes and everything,
Mm,
I haven't watched a lot of the popular K-dramas, especially
yeah.
because I, instead of watching them and not talking about them, I just didn't watch them because I
Mm,
didn't want to be I wanted to support people I knew who were in the industry and who were striking. So I didn't even want to be tempted to talk about them.
yeah.
So,
Mm.
like, for example, I have not seen Moving yet because I
Disney
have yet
Plus
to just go
Sashulu.
back and watch play or click play on it. I plan to, but it's just like a lot of the popular ones, other than like one, which I'll mention in this episode, I haven't seen. So, like, I had a really, but on the flip side, it allowed me to watch a lot of other countries' dramas that
Mm,
I wouldn't have had room because I do watch mostly K dramas just because I watch a lot of on air K dramas. So this year was interesting for me because I don't think it was a bad year, but I also just had more room to watch other stuff.
Mm.
But I will agree, like I dropped like 12 dramas this year, and I think like 10 of the 12 were K dramas, and some of them were pretty like big ones that I was looking forward to. And then some I probably should have dropped and I just didn't, like My Lovely Liar, for example. Um, but it was a weird year. It was like it was just not a normal year just in terms of what I clicked play for. I will say it's like to give you numbers, for example, right now I've watched 61 dramas this year. and 35 of them were Korean. And compared to last year, I watched 75 dramas that year. I'm not going to get to 75, no way, this year. And I watched 46 Korean dramas last year. So like I'm down in Korean this year, but I only watched 11 Chinese last year and I already have watched almost 20 this year. So like,
oh my god, so you doubled your C-drama intake
yeah,
this
so
year.
it was like that's why I'm like it was okay, because like I like the fact that I doubled or even like had more than one of other countries' dramas this year, but
Mhm.
that was because I didn't watch a ton of the Korean
Yeah,
dramas
yeah,
that
yeah.
people were watching. So
Yeah, so it's been a year, clearly. I mean, I'm at this point, I don't know, I still can't quite put my finger on what is, not quite clicking for me. I feel like it's writing at the time, at the moment. Korean dramas for me were always so well written, and it feels like it hasn't quite clicked. I will say for me as well, like I mean Tea and Soju is at the end of the day mostly a Chinese drama podcast. So if I want to try and keep up, I tend to try and keep up with Chinese dramas, and that is hard enough as it is. They just decide to unleash everything and anything on you at any given time.
yeah.
So that is, that's just one of those things that sometimes I don't have as much time for, like, for Korean dramas, but I'm hoping we'll see what happens, but we'll just see. I
The
feel
other
like
thing is I've done too is I made a conscious effort, even with the ones in Korean dramas especially, even with the ones I was clicking play on, I made a conscious effort to like click play on ones I was like 90% sure I would like and would
Yes.
finish.
yeah.
Because
Mhm.
like, for example, King the Land, I knew I was never going to watch
No.
that.
Yep,
It was
yep.
it was not something I was into. I do like some of the actors in it, but like the storyline, I knew I would drop it,
Yeah.
especially
Mhm.
from like the trailers and everything.
Yeah.
And some surprised me. Some I was like, okay, I'm curious, I will click play, and I did end up loving them. Like, for example, the one right now, My Man is Cupid. I
Mhm.
I was like, I'm gonna click play because I love the male lead. I doubt I will like it, and I absolutely love it right now, currently. So
That's
it's
so
like
cute.
I also was very conscious on what I clicked play on, and I
Mm.
think that also caused me to not like I had a couple months where I didn't watch a single airing Korean drama due
Mhm,
to
mhm.
both the strikes and the fact that I just was not interested in anything that was being played.
Right.
So
So you were just more selective this year.
Yeah.
I was more selective,
Yeah.
especially in Korean drama land.
I feel like I've been selective for a few years. So that's
Yeah.
why the numbers
Yeah.
are pretty low for me. Usually when I look at the ongoing dramas, the currently airing, I tend to try and never click play. I don't want to be the guinea pig on a show
Right.
and just be like, well, I'll just check it out and see if
Yeah.
it's any good. Never. I
hate-
try and sniff it out beforehand. I look
Yeah.
at the promos, I look at everything, the
Mhm.
synopsis, and I choose. I'm like, this is not going to appeal to me. I don't think I'm going to finish this. This doesn't look like they can probably land this
Yeah.
plane. So I just don't click play on a lot of
Right.
stuff now.
I also don't like hate watching. I
Oh,
mean, I
no.
drop something.
Ugh.
I drop something the minute I
Yep.
do not like it or I get
Mm.
bored. Like,
Yeah.
for example, My Perfect Stranger, from the trailers to the promos to the first couple episodes, I thought I would love that drama.
Ooh.
And I dropped it like episode 8 because I just got bored and I did not care. And a couple years ago, I probably would have slogged through it and would
Yeah.
have been like, okay, it was okay. Here's what I liked, but overall, I didn't like it. Like, I don't do that much anymore. I drop stuff, or I'm like, okay, I'm going to end up hating this. I'm not even going to click play at this point.
I feel like, I will say, I feel like that's kind of when you transition from like being a, I don't know, like a more newbie watcher to like a way more seasoned watcher, is when you're just like ruthless with your dramas. If you're not
Yes.
enjoying
Yeah.
it, I'm dropping it. Like I mean, power to you, each to their own, but I cannot understand people that will complete a drama, even if they're absolutely hating it.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I don't know, what's the point? There's so much out there for you to be watching that you can enjoy, and
Yeah.
there's not enough, like, there's only a limited amount of time that you can be watching dramas. So
Right.
I would rather spend my time on something that I'm enjoying, thank you very much, than, being hate watching something. And then
Preach.
for what? You get to the end of it and you're talking to people who loved it, and all you
Oh,
have to say is I hated it. And it's
yeah.
there's room for discussion and whatnot, but if you can see that it's not your type of drama, go read the recaps. Like, if you're just curious, just ask somebody, how did it end? Like, that's
Yeah.
how I would do it. I wouldn't necessarily watch it. So
You know what it is to spend all that time and then you didn't like it?
Yeah.
God, I would, yeah.
Like, your time is
Yeah.
precious. Like,
Exactly.
if you're listening to this and you're a completist, please hear me out.
Yes.
Just drop the show.
Just drop it.
Drop it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just drop it. And then, like, I also think there's that element of, like, FOMO where you just fit everybody's loving it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that plays a really big deal into, people not dropping dramas because everybody's loving it. Why can't I love it? And it's like, we all have different tastes. We're all going to appeal to different things. And we don't always have to go with the crowd. Let them enjoy it and you move on to something else that you can enjoy.
This is actually a very interesting
Yeah.
conversation because I feel like this was always the case, but it's more the case now with social media being so prevalent, with Insta, with TikTok,
Yeah.
that and Twitter, or X, or whatever the hell,
Whatever it is.
whatever it is. People love the social aspect of watching a drama with other people and
Yeah.
talking about it afterwards and having these discussions and theories and things about the show. And the social aspect of FOMO on that is, I feel like that outweighs like the quality of the drama and people actually enjoying the drama. And that's why you get these crazies out there that come into these discussions of people actually enjoying the show and try and kill everyone's buzz.
Oh, I hate it. I
Right.
hate it when that
And
happens.
they hate it. They're hate watching because they also don't want to miss out, but then they don't like the show.
Right.
It's
Right.
just one of those
So,
things where I'm like, just drop the drama. Just drop it. Like,
Yeah.
there's no point in it. So
I feel like because I started watching K-dramas in a vacuum, like with just me,
Yeah.
it's just my
Mhm.
opinion that counted for
Yep.
so many years. It's much easier for me to ignore the FOMO
Right.
and just not watch a show. Like, yeah, I don't even press play. Like
Same.
King of the Land,
Same.
as soon as I saw like the first couple of episodes, people were talking about it, and I was like, you know what? This didn't seem 100 to begin with. And now it's coming out that people don't like it, that the plot is this, that, and the other. And I was like, you know what? That tracks.
I did try that one. I did drop it very quickly. I think I watched like 2 episodes, maybe 3, and I was like, I'm done. Bye-bye. I'm out.
I mean, my DMs like lit up when King of the Land was airing, especially when it ended, because they were like, did you watch King of the Land? And I'm like, nah, babes. Like, I skipped it because it didn't look good. The one thing that I was excited about when I watched the trailer was they had this song. I think the song's called Adore Me, which is not a song in the OST. I thought it was OST, and I looked it up and I was like, this is just a pop song that they licensed for the promo.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was excited because I was like, if the OST is like this electro, like Charlie XCX type shit, I was like, oh, I'm super excited because that's going to be more interesting than the regular OST sound. And no, that wasn't the case. They just like licensed it for one promo. And then so after I learned that, I was like, you know what?
I'm out.
Yeah. Washing my hands of it, Pontius Pilate. So I was excited that like people were happy to watch it, and then other people were hate watching that show, consistently coming through every week and being like, I don't know why this show is doing this, blah blah blah, and this was problematic and all this stuff. I'm like, what did you expect? Like,
and I think
the CEO drama.
Yeah,
it's a CEO drama.
it got progressively worse and worse
Yeah.
by the week, and people were like not dropping the drama, but people were just being converted more and more often to not liking it. And I was like, just let it go, guys. It's not worth it. There is really like, do you know what I love to do? If it's a drama that, maybe I like the CP or whatever, but the drama's just not working for me, I'll drop it and I'll just go watch edits. Like, I'll just
I
watch
love
the best
edits.
parts.
Yes.
Like, and it doesn't bother me. Like, it does not bother me at all. Like, it is what it is.
Something that I get a lot also on TikTok is people will be like, oh, I'm watching, I don't know, My Demon or whatever. They're watching My Demon. And I'm like, that's so great. And they're like, they'll say it's not really that good, but Song Kang this, Song Kang that. And I'm like, I get the same contact high from just seeing a photo shoot of Song Kang or just watching an edit of Song Kang versus watching a plot or a story that is not engaging me.
Yeah.
So I think people watch it just because the people are hot. I'm beyond this.
Yeah,
I think
it doesn't. Yeah, I am watching My Demon, and I will say, to me, I love contract relationships. I love fake marriages.
If that's your trope, then this,
it's
my
trope. So it's feeding into all of my trope goodness. So I don't mind it. I'm enjoying it. But I can see some people being like, it's the same thing, clicking a drama because it's a favorite actor or actress. And I'm like, I will check. There's only very, very few actors or actresses that I will check out their dramas. But if I'm not enjoying it, there's no way I'm going to keep it. Like, bye-bye. Choose a better drama next time. Like that. I'm not gonna sit there and, watch something just because a favorite is in. That's just not,
For King the Land in particular, I was disappointed because this was Lee Juno's follow-up to The Red Sleeve.
Oh my god. I was like, how did this
happen?
I
was like, oh no. Because he was so magnificent in The Red Sleeve. It was a high quality K-drama. It was the Sageuk of the year, won a bunch of awards, and he is a powerhouse. He's a great actor. And then he chose this like subpar project with Yuna as his co-star. And I was like,
wild.
as soon as they casted Yuna, I was like, ooh, bye. Because you can't, it's like lobster and Skittles. Like Juno is lobster and Yuna is Skittles. Like they are vastly different levels of acting prowess. And to me, some people are also coming in and saying Yuna's improved so much. I love Yuna. Yuna's so great. And I'm like, great for you, but not for me, because I disagree. I don't like Yuna, but I feel like I've put in the work to watch Yuna dramas, and I will not.
That's the thing again. Like, some things are just not gonna click for people, and you're like, that's cool too. Let it go, move on. Like, I mean, what's the point? I think
I also don't like when people argue with you when they're like, "Oh, she's so good," blah blah blah.
Drives me nuts.
And it's like, relax. I disagree. Yeah. We'll just agree to disagree.
Yeah. I think a lot of the time people forget that this is entertainment.
Right.
It needs to be entertaining to, well, me in this case, or
to me, myself, and I.
Exactly. Yes. If I'm not entertained, no amount of words that you say will change that. Like, there's no, there's no changing that. So it is what it is at the end of the day. And with that, do you know what? Jess was saying, oh, it'll be fine. I think it'll be a short one. I think we've been here for like 20 minutes already. Should we get into the episode?
Yeah. Let's do it.
So
that was the first question, and it really spun out of control. Okay.
It's fine. It led to, that was a good discussion. It's fine. Right. So we got the wheel of names back on so we could decide the order we were going in. So Caitlin is going to go first, and then it's going to be Jess, and then it's going to be me. So
nice. Okay.
That's our order for today. So, Caitlin, what's the first drama of the year for you on your list?
Okay, so are we going 5 to 1?
Yes,
or are
5
we doing
to 1
to 5? Okay. So the first one I have is And I think the only reason why it's last is because it's only 4 episodes long. And that is Enigma.
Oh no! I'm just saying that was my 5th choice too. So there we go. We can start cutting track.
I can do another one.
No. Why don't you
Are you
both
sure?
talk?
Like I do have an
Yeah.
honorable mention.
No.
I can pull one
Both
off.
of you talk about
We
why
can talk
Enigma
about
is
it.
number 5.
We can both talk
Okay.
about it, and it could
Yeah,
just
yeah,
stay
go
on
for
both
it.
our lists. That's cool.
Okay, so for people who don't know, this is a Thai drama. It came out in July of this year, and it was only 4 episodes. And from what I heard from other podcasts, so this is just things I've heard off other podcasts. This was like an experiment for, I think, GMMTV. I think that was the network.
It is GMMTV, and they've have you seen? They've confirmed a second season.
Yes,
for
I'm
it.
so
I'm
excited
very
for season
excited
2.
for it. Yeah.
So this was apparently a experiment. It was like something that like they don't normally do in their content.
No.
And they wanted to see people's reactions. And I think also it was like a writer or somebody was like, I want to do this story. Like, even if you give me like 4 episodes, I want to do it. I want to try it, whatever. So they gave them 4 episodes. And as clearly as the fact that they got a season 2, like clearly people liked it. So it's about, basically you have a high school, and Fa, who is played by, I'm
Prim.
not going to be able to pronounce.
I just call it by a first name, which is
Okay,
Prim.
good. Prim. Prim. She attends this high school, and she noticed that like strange events have been going on, and a new teacher arrives who's played by Win, who you might know from the Together series. And basically it's a mix between, like, there's definitely some horror and supernatural, but it's also like mystery stuff. But it's a good combination. It's not overly scary, and that's coming from somebody who does not watch horror at all. And I think the reason why this is on my list is because I was just so impressed. Like, I didn't really know what to expect, and I literally clicked play because it was only 4 episodes.
Yeah.
And I was just so impressed with the story and the acting and the chemistry, even though like there was no romance whatsoever. That it just had to be on my top 5 because it was just so different from anything I had been watching and was currently watching at the time. And again, like, I came in with no expectations, and it just blew me away with what was done.
I loved it. It's really high quality coming out of Thailand. It's done so well. There's a specific scene actually that I remember, and Caitlin will remember this scene. It's the scene where she kind of like gets trapped, and then he pulls her out of a bathtub, and you just see like the camera work on this. It's insanely good. And then I kept checking because I was like, GMMTV, are you okay? How is this coming out of like GMMTV? It's insane because like the quality on it is just ridiculously good. And the thing is, Win and Prim, they have worked together before. They played characters in F4 Thailand, and they played a couple together in F4 Thailand. And I really enjoyed them there. We didn't really get to see a lot of their story, but they were kind of like the second couple there, and I really, really like them. And so actually my reason for going in was I had watched F4 Thailand, and I was like, I really like this couple, and then it popped up that they were going to be working together again. I was like, well, it's only 4 episodes. I really didn't have any expectations, but then basically you go in and it's this school, and there's something happening in the school. There's kind of like a haunting almost happening in the school, and our male lead comes in, and he's kind of like an exorcist. That's what I would equate him to being. And he has to like suss out what's happening, and our female lead, she kind of like is working together with him, and they're kind of like running against the clock to kind of of, stop the killings that are happening in the school, or, the things that are happening in the school. And actually, what I really, really liked is why the reason was happening. So basically, if you got to be a top student, you would be next on the list to basically die. So if you were number one, that's who they were targeting, was the number one student. So I found that really, really interesting. And the way it's done, it's 4 episodes, but God, they tell you a lot of story in 4 episodes, but at the same time, it doesn't feel rushed at all. I felt I understood what was happening. So it's one of those dramas that I am not a horror person a lot of the time, and I really, really enjoyed this. I could appreciate the storytelling, I could appreciate the acting, and, just the quality of the drama for what it was. So, yeah, that's why it was my...
things.
Yeah, my top 5, my number 5.
I love the name Enigma.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah.
Number 1. Number 2, how long are the episodes?
They're not very long. 4. I think there's 50 minutes.
They're 50 minutes.
Yeah.
45, something like that.
Are we gonna get Jess? Are we gonna get Jess to watch this?
Well, the thing is, I like when a story has a time limit, or there's some sort of urgency, and you're okay, it really moves the story along. I like that momentum really usually. So when you guys were they're kind of running against the clock, I'm yes, I love that shit. So it's a mystery it's a mystery thriller.
Yeah.
Okay.
With some horror. I mean, there are some scenes that are quite brutal. It's not jump scare, but it's it's creepy. It's really creepy.
Okay.
Less creepy. Yeah. That's creepy. What I would call it.
And it's done well. The special effects are really good.
So good.
Okay, because I'm not a horror person, but I am a thriller person.
Oh, I would definitely recommend it, because I don't do horror. I am not a horror person either.
This is what the exception to this is zombies, because evidently a lot of people don't like zombies and they consider it horror, and I love zombies. So that's the only thing. Okay, so Enigma, where can I find it?
YouTube. I think it's on YouTube.
YouTube.
It's on the GMMTV YouTube channel.
I think that's the only place you can get it. I don't think
it might be on Amazon
actually,
Prime now.
I was gonna say it's apparently on Amazon Prime as well, according to my drama list.
And
if it is on Amazon Prime, I would go with the Amazon Prime instead, because GMMTV does this thing where they break up the episodes into 4 parts and upload it in 4 parts. So if it is on Prime for
it'll be all connected together.
It'll be all connected, so it'll be even better. So I highly recommend it. It's an afternoon. You can binge this in an afternoon, and it's really easily digestible, really easy bingeable. And like I said, they've set up for a second season, but even though there's a second season coming, you still get closure with this season.
And I don't think it's going to be the same cast. I think Wynn is coming back in season 2, but I don't think anybody else from the first season is coming back.
Gotcha.
So you still get closure from this season. I
appreciate that.
You don't. It's not the kind of
it's
thing.
Not a cliffhanger or anything.
No. So
there's a couple scenes that are that told us that they would definitely probably be doing a season 2, but it's nothing oh my god, I need season 2 tomorrow.
Yeah. You can you can watch this and happily wait for season 2, so to speak.
I like that.
So
and I just looked on Prime, and it doesn't look like it's on Prime here in the United States.
Oh, brilliant! So you do have to go the YouTube.
Okay.
The YouTube, way.
It's okay. All right. So I guess it's up to me, because it's my 5th number 5 choice.
Yeah, and then we'll go
you
back
guys
to
both have the same
Caitlin.
thing. Yeah, and then we're back to Caitlin. So my number 5 choice is The Glory, because part 2.
That's my number 4.
Oh! So let's talk about it, Caitlin.
I honestly didn't know we were going to be so intertwined.
Neither did I. I thought this was going to be wildly different lists.
Same.
And
Honorable
it's not.
mentions. That's what honorable mentions exist.
True.
Guys,
Okay.
guys, we before we recorded, we didn't tell each other any of our
No.
choices or anything, so we
This
would
is a
be
mystery.
surprised. So as you can tell, we clearly are on the same page for a lot of this.
I will tell you right now, my 1 and 2 probably is not even on your guys' list. I will say
Okay.
that right now.
So The Glory Part
The
2
Glory.
is came out in 2023. I really enjoyed the show. I am one petty ass bitch. And
Yeah.
this
Yes.
show fulfilled that in me. I am one of those people that's like, fuck the high road. Let's go low. And that's what this drama does. It's a revenge story about really intense, horrifying bullying that happened in high school. And it circles back around. Karma's a bitch. And I really enjoy Song Hye Kyo's performance. I thought it was a highlight of her career. And it was a role that kind of was obviously was difficult for her to do. She was on this like really crazy crash diet so that she would look sort of haggard and very thin. And then they applied obviously like prosthetics to her for scenes where she was showing her skin and showing the scars on her body. And it really took a toll on her. And I think that she committed to the craft in a very admirable way. The entire cast, the ensemble cast is amazing. I thought that it was a great crop of older actors, some newcomers that we've never seen, or actors who really kind of busted onto the scene because of the popularity of The Glory. Right. And
it was really number 3.
Oh yeah, no, it was
in the Netflix. So Netflix released their streaming numbers for the first half of the year. It was number 3 in Netflix.
Right.
Above Wednesday. Like it came above Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. Have you seen Wednesday?
I haven't. So
okay.
I've seen
The Glory is better than Wednesday.
The Glory is better than Wednesday. But
come on.
Yeah.
I also love the drama surrounding The Glory as well. Like that the director had like this bullying scandal that I think is Kim Hyora as well, who is like the drug addict in the show. Yeah. She also had a scandal after the fact. Everybody got scandal, and the show is like an enigma, no pun intended, because of all of the scandal and weirdness that surrounds it as well.
Yeah.
And I
had both parts on my list as number 4 because I didn't watch the first part until the second part came out because I was like, I didn't want to wait 3 months. So
nobody did.
So I actually watched both parts in 2023.
Nice.
But, I also just loved I had seen a lot of these actors in other stuff. But a lot of the roles were just so different than what they normally played. Like, especially, I was so surprised with Lee Do-hyun because, I knew he could do this type of role. It's not the fact that, I didn't think he could.
Right.
It's just, the fact that I loved him in it so much.
He's so good.
And how his character supported Song Hye Kyo's character just so much and their chemistry together. And just I was like, the scene where he was in, she showed him the scars and the speech he gave afterwards and just how supportive. I was just everybody freaked out at that scene. But
no.
No
one was okay.
I could tell why people, because again, I was watching this after the fact that people had watched part 1. So I was like, oh, I can tell why. Or the scene where the best scene in my opinion is
tell me.
When she goes and meets Jung Sung-il in the restaurant and takes off the coat and he sees her scars for the first time and just the reaction from him and the reaction from everybody else and just his realization that his wife fucking is bad. Actually horrible
monster
is just I loved it. I've rewatched that scene alone multiple times, and I just also love the fact of when dramas highlight, as you said, just everybody who did this drama between Young Hae-ran to
Hae-ran, who's the Ajuma,
to Park Sun-hoon,
everybody,
no matter how small their role was, I think this drama overall shot them into the next
Yeah.
atmosphere. Like even
Mhm.
the younger cast, like
Mhm.
the younger actress who played MG Young's character. Shin Ye Yoon.
Uh-huh.
He
Yes.
that's another role. Like
She
I
was
was like,
scary as shit.
she was scary as hell.
Yeah.
Scary as hell. And it was again another role I had never seen her play. And again, her stardom kind of went up. Like I just love seeing the fact when supporting characters get what they deserve,
Yes. Yeah.
especially if they've been doing it for so long. And
Mhm.
like a lot of these
Not get what
older
they deserve in the
actors.
story, get like fame and recognition for the work that they do
And
as
I mean, if their
actors.
character was a horrible character, yeah, if they get a satisfying ending, that's also very satisfying. But yeah, I love to see that happen in no
Mhm.
matter if it's a bit part that they've been doing for years and years and years, and then they just get recognition from a really small part to they finally get a lead role and get the recognition.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter what role they get, but I just love seeing that when dramas do that.
Yeah. I thought this was a perfect, disturbing story.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I had a great time seeing the revenge happen
Yes.
in slow motion.
Yeah.
So,
And I was really glad that I watched it back to back instead of
mhm.
having to wait 3 months
Yeah.
because whether the first part was really good, but it really was part 2 that you
Yes.
got to see everything get the satisfying ending that they deserved.
Yeah.
Um so yeah.
Nice.
I have not watched it, but it is on my list to watch at some
Ah,
point.
okay.
I think it came out and I was knee deep in a bunch of Chinese dramas. So,
Oh yeah, no.
and then I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to it when part 2 gets released, and then I didn't. But it is one of those that I've heard so
Yeah.
many good things about it that I definitely
Yeah.
want to go and
But trigger warning
watch it.
again.
Oh, for every trigger warning.
Every trigger warning possibly especially for
Mm.
episode 1. Like episode 1 is the worst. If you can get through episode 1, you will have other parts that are obviously gory or violent or whatever, but episode 1 in my opinion is the worst compared to the trigger warnings and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But everything under the sun trigger warning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Who's next now? Because
So,
It would be
it's you.
You.
is it gonna be me?
Oh wait,
Yeah,
no,
it'd
it's
be
me
you.
again.
No, it's you again. Because
Oh dang, it's me again.
Oh yeah, you had that was your okay, yeah.
Okay, so this is already so confusing. All right, my fourth choice, my number 4 drama of the year is Moving.
Okay.
Really?
Yes.
I
Yes.
thought I'll say what I thought that might be higher on your list.
I thought so too, but then I added in the C dramas and I thought of my personal eras
Yeah.
of the year. So I also like this is weird, but if a drama consumes my life, I think of it as an era of my life of the year.
Yeah.
Right.
The Moving drama was amazing. I loved covering it on Daebak and stuff, but it wasn't necessarily an era.
Yeah.
So I thought this didn't consume me as much as the other shows on the top end of my list. So Moving, even though it's excellent. I don't have a bad thing to say about it really. But it was just my personal did it like change my life? No, but it's amazing. So appreciate this show. If you're into superheroes, X-Men especially, this is your bag. This is better than a lot than most Disney Plus shows, even though this aired on the same network. Obviously,
I love X-Men.
Oh, girl,
I love X-Men.
Caitlin, you're gonna die. Like when you watch this show, you're gonna freak out because it's really good.
I think the fact that my sister messaged me, I know I've said this before. The fact that my sister messaged me this and was like, "Are you watching this show?" And I'm like, "Not yet."
So
and she's like, "Why are you not watching this show?"
I am currently up to episode 8 on it.
Oh, okay.
And the reason why I haven't finished is because we were recording this and there was 2 other dramas that I wanted to finish. So I was like, I need to, wrap one. One's gonna have to take the bait. And then I thought, I'm pretty sure Jess is gonna mention this one.
Yeah.
So like I don't mind not finishing it now and like coming back to it later.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty impressive that the webcomic author was also the screenwriter for the show,
Ooh,
which is
that's
really
interesting.
interestingly enough, there is another K-drama that did the same thing. The webtoon artist was also the
I
screenwriter.
know exactly which one you mean.
That show is Duna. That show sucked. This show, Moving, blew a lot of K-dramas out of the water. The quality, the budget, the stories that were being told. It's very, very impressive. And I don't want to spoil it too much because you're in the middle of watching it, Liliana, and you're gonna watch it, Caitlin. But I was I was like knee deep in these very human stories. Each basically person in the show gets a lot of backstory, a lot of like what made them who they are, how did they get here, and you're riveted like by their stories, and you're really sympathizing and empathizing with each one of them, because at the end of the day, these people are just trying to survive. They're just trying to live, and it doesn't matter what super power that they have. They just want to live, and that's a basic like human, like it makes them so much more human than the people that
Relatable.
try and take advantage of them and exploit them.
It's relatable.
It's relatable.
Yeah.
And you're having fun in one episode and then you're crying your eyes out in another episode. And it's this push and pull roller coaster of emotions. And the ending is incredibly satisfying.
Well, that's good to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is
The
good to
edits
know.
I've seen of this drama,
come on.
especially with the I do not know names, okay?
Okay,
But
it's
I'm
fine.
just gonna describe.
You can
but, like,
describe it and I'll try and like pinpoint it.
with the couple where the husband flies.
Okay, so
and
that's
the-
Choi Sung and Han Hyo-ju's pairing.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're the
Yeah.
owner of the restaurants, aren't they? They each have a restaurant. Is that right?
No. The guy that flies.
their son floats. He's the one
Yes.
that like
Oh,
floats.
okay. Yes, I do know what you mean now.
The
Yes.
edits I saw of them as a couple, and I'm assuming because I have no idea what this drama is, like the
Okay.
story. I'm assuming the drama shows them like meeting, dating, like their backstory basically. That I still remember apparently when that episode aired, because apparently they did it in like an episode or two.
Yes.
The edits I saw on TikTok from that episode alone made me want to watch this drama, but I was like I don't know what I was doing when the fact this was airing. I can't remember.
Here's what I'll say about the TikTok edits on Moving is that they were very focused on the romantic relationships in the show. That's always going to get people to watch a show.
I think also the reason why they were doing that is because it was so violent you can't do it on
No,
TikTok.
there was a lot of violence in the show for sure, and you can't show a ton of that. But there are other relationships like father-daughter relationships, father-son relationships.
Yeah. I was gonna say at the point that I'm watching, there's not a lot of romance right now. Yes, there's like the school pairing, if you know what I mean. The
yes,
which are freaking adorable. Like
they're adorable.
I love
them.
I love them.
So cute.
But what really shines through is like those familiar relationships, whether it be friendship or whether it be mum and son. You know, so yeah. I do.
Or there's an adoption storyline as well in one of the characters, which I won't say who it is or what he does, but yeah, that is also a giant reason to watch. And I didn't see any edits on that stuff, which is even sometimes even more poignant than the romance stuff. If you're a romance person, that's always going to get you. But like to me, it was the all-encompassing nature of the drama and the different stories that it tells. And you are by the time that everything sort of intertwines and you come to the finale episodes, you are invested in each one of these people, and the villains get backstories. The quote unquote villains get backstories as well, and you're kind of conflicted because you understand where everyone's coming from.
Cool. And it's getting a season 2. So.
And it's getting a season 2.
Is it? I did not know that.
Yeah, I think Disney confirmed after it was done airing.
It doesn't need a season 2, but it left it open for a season 2.
Okay.
I think it was like the most watched Disney drama this year. So they were like, yeah.
That's interesting as well, because the first season is already 20 episodes long, which is, you know, longer than a regular K-drama anyway. So
but the episodes are shorter.
Are they though? They're like
Yes.
40. I think they're like 45 to 50, aren't they?
Yeah,
Minutes
it's
long.
way you feel it.
Way
You're
shorter than K
that's way
drama
shorter. Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
K
Well,
dramas right now are like hour to an hour 15.
Fuck out of here, bro.
I
Like
can't.
that's
I
Yeah.
can't even. I
yeah.
Also,
just
the budget I
cannot.
hear for this drama for moving was like really higher than like most of the other Disney Plus dramas this year too.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but
Well, they had more effects, so
yeah,
I can see it. Yeah.
yeah.
But anyway, so that's number 4 for me, moving.
So we're back to me now for my
Yeah,
fourth
nice.
choice.
What's your fourth choice?
So cast your minds to earlier on this year, and this is a Korean drama, and it's the Korean drama Love to Hate You. Now, I
Nice. Okay.
adore, like, the reason why this had to be in my top 5 is because this was one of those K dramas where I sat down and I binged it beginning to end. Netflix released it all in one afternoon, and I think I binged it all in one weekend. And it had that quality where I just need to watch the next episode. I'll just click the next episode. And I hadn't felt that in so long with a Korean drama that, to me, that really made it stood out. Now, we've already said earlier on in the episode, contract marriages, fake relationships, that's like my catnip. Like I adore that trope. But what I really, really loved about this drama is the fact that all, our 4 main leads. So that was Kim Ok-bin, Yoo-to, Kim Ji-hoon, and I think Gu Won-hee is slightly younger, but all of them are like older actors. And I really appreciated that in a world where right now we tend to see a lot of young actors in Korean dramas. I really, really appreciated that. And I think what I really appreciated about this one as well was the fact that the relationships itself were, a little bit more mature. The scenes themselves were a bit more mature especially between our main couple. There was some really sizzling scenes between them. And, because they were older, I don't want to say, like, it almost sounds like I'm saying they're old. They're not, but, they're more mature.
They're just what, middle-aged maybe?
Yeah. I feel like they're just like more
They're in their 30s,
seasoned.
maybe
Yeah,
40s.
in their 30s, 40s. But I feel like they're seasoned actors. I feel that's like what I want to put across is, that they're comfortable with these types of scenes and everything. And I think that really shown on camera. Like, I also liked that this female lead was just like kick butts and take no prisoners type of thing. She was just full guns blazing, straight ahead. And who can forget the fact that they played on the 2 male leads? Like, they had some scenes where they were practicing scenes together and everybody went crazy. Like, what is this chemistry between these 2 guys? Like, they could do a BL just by themselves.
Easy.
And then like, it was the fact that it seems like this drama came in and everybody was sort of watching it. Like we said, it's that, sort of mentality. But online on Instagram and whatnot, the actors themselves were sharing posts and they were so involved.
They were hamming it up.
Yeah, they really were. And like, they were even sharing, like, fans were sharing that they were watching the show or that they were, and like they were resharing those things that fans were putting up.
Right,
and
right,
I just feel like
they were sharing edits and stuff.
exactly. Yeah.
Uteo, when he does a drama, that's him every time he does a drama. Uteo. I love it every time there's
I had not watched any of these actors before. This was my first time watching all of them, and that's why I was like, I love this. They're joining in like the fandom experience. And I think that I will say, I think that experience of it probably did add to me even liking the drama even more, because I feel like it just does. It's really hard to separate that sort of experience and chatter that you're having to the drama itself, at least for me personally. But I just adored it. I loved the bickering. I loved like how they went from completely hating each other to then slowly, but becoming two people that could trust each other, rely on each other. And you could see that bond really do. Now, I loved the fact that, was it 9 or 10 episodes? It was either
It
9
was
or 10.
quick. Yeah.
It was
quick, yeah.
quick. A lot of things happened very quickly. They weren't very long episodes. I think, again, they were like 45, 50-minute episodes. So I love the format. I just adored it. So, and again, to me, it was one of those dramas that I sat down and I binged. And that rarely happens for me with K-dramas nowadays. So that's why it's like just one of the ones that I really, really loved this year. So,
Mhm.
so
I
yeah.
remember when this aired because it was like February, I think.
Yeah. It was early this
And
year. Yeah.
a lot of people, I think, also loved it because I remember seeing on Twitter, on social media in general, like a lot of people are like, yes, we're back to like the old days of Korean dramas. Like, this is a classic story, but it's done so well. And like, we haven't, like, I think at the time, like we were in a drought for romance dramas in Korea, right?
Yeah, we
like,
really were.
we were, I remember, because it was like everybody was so surprised this was coming out, even though it was like Valentine's Day. But like,
That's right. It was a Valentine's Day.
we had like gone like 2 months without a romance drama between like December and January. And I think that's the also reason why a lot of people loved it, was because there was a drought and then they got one, but then it was just so good because it was like had a classic story but was done so well. And then of course what Liliana just said, like the chemistry was there, the story was there, it had a lot of great elements that kind of reminded people. I just remember a ton of people saying like, oh, this reminds me of like this drama that I loved, or this drama from a couple years ago, or blah 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 blah. So yeah, a lot of people love this drama. I have not seen it, but a lot of people.
Oh, I thought you had. Okay.
No,
That I mean, I would recommend it.
Yeah,
I think
it's on
really
my list.
classy.
It's on my list, but I hadn't clicked play yet.
I think it's kind of classy. You should watch it.
It's a lot of fun, I think. It's one of those dramas where, yes, you could very clearly see the tropes from all the way back in 2016, 2017, but it's still
fake dating.
Yeah, it still didn't.
Sometimes you do that, like there's just some dramas that, because we don't get that often anymore, like the classic, like Business Proposal, for example.
Oh my god, I love
like everybody loved that one, but that had some great classic tropes. Or a more recent one, Perfect Marriage Revenge. Like that was a great one, and it was tropey as hell, but it was so good because it was like that juicy tropiness. Like once in a blue moon, you just need a revisit of those types of
you need
dramas,
someone that's going to commit to the bit,
exactly,
you know?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And appreciate it.
And spun on a 2023 like thing. I
Yeah,
think that's what also helping is like these dramas may have tropes that we love, but they're not
They're
like
updated.
They're updated. They're conscious of the audience that's watching them now versus when it was 2016 or 2012 or whatever. Like, but you still get that deliciousness of a trope that we all guiltily love sometimes.
I think at the end of the day, it was just one of those dramas that, yes, you could clearly see the tropes, but it didn't feel out of place in 2023, which, you know, is hard to do. You can have dramas that have those tropes and then they just they feel dated, but I don't think that was the case for this one. So yeah, that's my number 4. We up to number 4? Yeah, number 4 choice. Yeah. So we're back to Caitlin for number 3.
Okay. I don't know if you guys won't be surprised this is on my list, but you'll probably be surprised it's number 3. And that is Till the End of the Moon.
I know.
Which number is it for you, Jess?
Baby, it's number 1 for me. It's number 1 for me.
Shall we wait and
sure, we can wait. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We can chat about it like when Jess is number 1.
Yeah, we can wait. Yeah.
Okay, my
we
bad.
can do that then.
No, it's fine. We're gonna be talking a long time about this.
All right. Well, we've already like done a bit. Like Till the End of the Moon.
But I'm sure we're gonna be doing it again.
Yeah. Okay. So, it's me. It's back to me.
Yeah.
So my third choice, my top 3 drama of the year is Hidden Love,
Nice.
which is C drama.
Yeah.
I had an entire era, a hidden love era, and it lasted a long time. I adore this drama. I think it
So good.
is really refreshing and light and just a proper good time. It's like a weighted blanket of a show. It just like hugs you and makes you feel good. And I know a lot of people were complaining about the age gap or about
No.
the show. And I was like, I didn't sense a true, like, what was it? 5, 6 years difference between them?
So it is supposed to be like 6 years, but sometimes they play around that it's 7, sometimes they play around that it's 6, but it's like it's really not that big of a deal.
To
Like
me, that's
I
not
think
that bad.
no.
That's not that
And
bad.
what I said, like when I reviewed Hidden Love, what I sort of said was 6 to 7 years in your teens is definitely not the same as in your 20s. And by the time
Yes,
you hit your 30s, it's like it's nothing.
it's nothing.
So
To me, double 8, 9, and double digits and beyond, I'm like, ooh, that's like a different generation.
yeah. But I think
So
it was
this was not that
done.
bad.
No,
It was done
I
so
loved it.
tastefully
Yeah.
and with so much heart and earnestness to it. And there was just an honesty about the show that I was gravitating towards.
So the story for Hidden Love is the author. This is something that happened to the author.
I
It's
think I
her,
heard this in your episode that
yeah,
you were
yeah,
like,
yeah.
this is kind of a little truth in it.
Yeah, it's her story. The thing is, her story obviously did not have the ending that Hidden Love had. So when she rewrote it, she wrote it with like
she
a
gave it the ending she
happy,
wanted.
yeah, she gave it the ending that like she would have wanted at that time. But
How
think,
Jane Austen of her.
yeah, the thing is, I think that's one of the things why it feels so. Because one of the things that a lot of people have in common, and when they talk about Hidden Love, it's like how relatable it is and
It
how you
is.
can tune into the emotions. And I think it's
Yes.
because it's coming from her experience, and it's like an experience we can all relate to. I mean, we've all had our hearts broken. We've all had that.
That's
So
why I felt so in tune with it, was
yeah.
that especially the first half of the show where her love is unrequited. Like I was like deeply feeling that, and I was like, this, I remember this in my own life, like feeling
Yeah.
this way and feeling this frustration and feeling just so heartbroken and feeling like my emotions and my feelings towards someone were so little in comparison to their life and in context with them. And that is what it nails, right? Like this sort of, I mean, throughout the show, it nails everything, but that was what I was like, oh my God, because it's dredging up all of these like buried feelings and experiences that like no one wants to look back on and be like, wow, I was so little and I was such a fool. And I can't believe I like this person. They were so ugly, like, so on and so forth. But no, compare that with like an actual happy ending and Dwan Jashu like just being a perfect person, like a perfect male lead.
Oh my God, he really is. He really
is like the standard.
He is. He truly is. He truly is. And I think like somebody has said that Hidden Love like speaks to all of our inner like kid,
yes, like the inner little girl.
But it also speaks,
just got crushes on boys. You know what I'm saying?
But what they said is, so it speaks to like that inner young girl, but it also speaks to the woman that I am today. And it's like I absolutely agree, because it definitely does. Like you can relate to it in all her different stages of life.
Yes.
I adore this drama, and it'll definitely make my top 5. There's no way this isn't making my top 5.
To me, it's a beautiful youth drama. It's a beautiful coming of age drama. It's a gorgeous romance, and this is the type of person that like we all want to be with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I can't heap enough praise on it.
I loved it. I mean, To this day, Hidden Love is like my review for it is my most listened to episode. And I just released
Nice.
it like, when the show ended. Was it August that we had it or something like
So
that?
like midway through the year.
Yeah. So I released it and it's become my most listened to episode out of, all of the episodes that I've done on Tea and Soju, for the last year. So
because people want to hear more about it, they want to experience it, they want other opinions, they want to like relive the show, and it is one of those that it's an era of my life in 2023. Like I didn't want to let it go.
It was just done so well. So I agree. I very much agree. So,
Liliana, what's your third choice?
Is it me? Oh, it is.
Yes, it's to you now.
Again. So, this is one that the three of us have all watched. I know Jess has finished it. Caitlin has reviewed it. I've reviewed it. Just on separate podcasts. It was a hot minute for every K-drama watcher out there, and it has to be Perfect Marriage Revenge because I adore this drama so much. And this is what I mean by the K-dramas that I've gravitated towards this year are not the dramas that I would necessarily think I would gravitate towards. I mean, love to hate or hate like that could almost be a little makjangy at times. This one is a true makjang in the form of the word, and I have never thought I would see the day where a makjang would make my top 5 best dramas for the year. But here we are. Like, I adored this drama. It was crazy because the chemistry between our main couple was insane.
It's good, yeah.
It's good. Like, tell me how this drama did time travel better than dramas that are meant to be, up
Liliana, do we really want to tug on this string right now? Or like,
girl. I don't know what it is, but this drama had a bunch of us in a chokehold for a while. It was one of those, again, it's one of those that just has that bingeable quality to it. I watched it while it was on air, but it's like this is pure entertainment at its foundation. It's pure entertainment.
This is like crack cocaine.
It is. It really is.
Yes.
It is. It's like, it's the type of drama that you just know, is it right, realistically speaking, is it
no, it's out of
it's like out of whack. Is it like a really good story? Of course it isn't. It's a makjang. Like, what do you expect? But there's a quality to it that you just
I am entertained.
Exactly.
Yes,
I am entertained. I am
this is like an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is not like a 5-course sit-down meal. This is like, you
get it all.
French fries and chicken nuggets and sushi and like everything, okay?
They throw at you every single crazy thing that is possible, and then they wrap it up with a good romance and even better, like, revenge story. And I'm like, sign me up.
I just said I love revenge stories.
Yeah. And this one was one of those where I was fairly happy with how it turned out. And the way that they wrapped everything at the end with like a nice, tidy, pretty bow on top. And I was like, I'm happy with it. And it was 12 episodes. Very like, it was like move. There was not a lot of time wasted or anything, which is what I think a lot of the time. I've tried makjangs, the long ones. They tend to be like the 50 episode ones, and I'm like, I cannot. The real has come is a thing. I did watch it all. I regret my life choices.
I dropped that one.
I should have dropped it. The thing is, I should have dropped it. It was one of those dramas. You remember the conversation we just had about hate watching? That was one of the very, very few times that I truly hated watching something.
Oh, God.
It was that bad. So when this came out and I was like, oh, it's a makjang, I'm not sure. And then like I saw the edit of the ending of the first episode where he proposes to her with like a daisy flower.
Oh, fuck out of here. It's so cute.
And I was like, oh, all right. I hear you. I hear you. I'm going to check it out.
Sign me up.
And then like I was like, oh my god, right from episode 1, I was like, this is great. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm watching it. I feel like I'm, 12 years old again, watching a
Oh, yeah.
telenovela. Like, I'm here for it.
The fact
So,
that he was like the greenest flag of green
oh
flags
my
ever.
god,
Oh, yeah,
yes.
no. But
Like,
that's the 2023 sensibility
yeah,
of
yeah,
it.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Yeah.
I think that's the thing is, yes, you can make these characters, but make them like green flags, so to speak. Don't make them, because a lot of like, if you
He could have
look back,
easily been toxic, but just less
yeah,
toxic than
yeah,
her
Right.
family.
yeah.
Right.
And the
Mhm.
thing is, a lot of the time is we have these characters that are supposed to be, really harsh on the outside but soft on the inside, so you have to break through. And I loved that in 2023, that has not been the case. They're just they're just, good people
They're just
from
lovely.
the get-go.
They're good people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we want to see.
Ye-
That's
I
what
also
we want
love
to
the
see.
fact that like his family, other than his brother, his family too, like
Great people.
his family was like, it was like,
Yep.
you like get a typical like tropey K-drama. The Chaebol family is always
Uh-huh.
like, there may be like one nice person in the family, but overall they're horrible people. That
Her
was not the
mother-in-law?
case with his family.
Her
Like
mother-in-law was a
mother-in-law.
delight.
Yeah, her
Mm.
mother-in-law was amazing.
She
And
was
his
astute, she was
sister-
hard, she was
Yeah.
stubborn, and
his
she supported
sister-
them.
Yeah.
And it's also
sister.
it's
The
also
sister was
something
amazing.
the sister was great. And it's something that has been happening actually in a lot of dramas that I really love to watch is how much friends and family are like
Mhm.
such big supporters of the main couple.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm here for it. Like, I love this sort of thing. So this was something that, not her family, let's not talk about her family, but his family, like they were the biggest cheerleaders for them to be together.
Yeah.
Even, once everything was sorted and they kind of ironed out the story. But yeah, I just had to make this my number 3 because I just adored it. I really, really did. So
I had a fantastic time with it too. And I'm not a Makjang person. I used to watch more Makjangs, but now I don't. And that's simply because I was traumatized in the year 2018 with The Last Empress. I don't know if you guys watched that show.
I love that show.
Oh
But
God.
Makjang
So-
is my shit.
You love
it
Makjang.
is,
But
it
so
is, it is.
I vividly remember starting The Last Empress, not knowing how many episodes there were. I thought
Yeah,
there were
yeah.
16 to 20 episodes. I had no idea. And I didn't know it was a Makjang. So I started watching. I'm chugging along. I'm watching. And I'm like, it blows past 20 episodes. And I'm like, that's strange. And then it just starts getting so unhinged.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
unhinged. I was frightened by the show. I was literally like, I don't know what I'm watching. I don't know where it's going to go. And she was like, there was attempted murders on her. But then she, instead of leaving, she comes back to the relationship, back to the palace. And then she was going to get with the bodyguard because he was very nice and sweet to her. But then her husband, who tried to kill her, was like, I think I want you now. And like, then there was like a thing there. And I was like, but he tried to kill you. I was like, reeling. So I didn't finish it. I dropped it. But I was truly like traumatized by the experience of watching The Last Empress. So ever since then, I've been very careful not to watch a Makjang. It's
You
been
talk about
years.
eras, Jess. Imagine watching The Last Empress and Love and Sadness at the same time. And Love and Sadness
Lord.
is a Makjang.
How are you still standing?
Oh, you still
It was a thing. It was a thing. 2020 was a different year, man.
What an animal that year was. So
Yeah, right?
the fact that I watched Perfect Marriage Revenge and liked it,
Right.
I feel like that says a lot for the
Perfect
show.
Marriage Revenge is in my honorable mentions. It didn't make my list, but it's in my honorable
There you
mentions.
go. There you go. It
Gotcha.
I got you. It's made my list. It's fine. So,
Okay, Caitlin.
we're back to Caitlin. What's your number 2 choice?
My number 2 choice is the Taiwanese drama Oh No, Here Comes Trouble.
Really?
Yes.
I thought this would be your
I
number 1.
No. It almost was. It was a really like I could not really decide between my number 1 and this, but my number 1 kind of scooted in there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you when we get to that. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh No, Here Comes Trouble is like probably the best Taiwanese drama I've watched
What?
in years.
I've
It's
start
awesome. It's so good.
I've started it and I've
You need
decided
to finish it.
no, I will, and it'll be that week that I have off for Christmas. I'm just gonna sit
Nice.
and binge the rest of it. So
Nice.
that's what I'm gonna do.
It's so good. Okay, so people who did not watch this because it is on iQIYI, it's one of those where it's like you can only find it on iQIYI. So it's I think if you liked moving, you will like this. It's
Oh.
a different type of moving though. It's like it's more of a ghost moving where like
Yeah.
so basically Pyu Young is a high school student and he gets into a horrible accident and wakes up and he can now
See ghosts.
see ghosts
Basically.
and like talk to ghosts.
Yeah.
But he like talks to ghosts in a really unique way through calligraphy, which is just amazingly done. Like
Yeah, it's
Like
really,
Harry
really
Potter?
cool.
Chamber of Secrets?
kind of in a way, kind of.
Okay.
Like he kind of
Okay.
unlocks and like sets them free through this like calligraphy. Because
like it.
basically, at least the first half of it is it's like episodic cases where these ghosts come to him and like I need you to figure out how I died or resolve this thing. And the way they communicate is like through calligraphy, but also just like the ghosts doing stuff. And then once he figures out like what they need and they like accomplish that goal, he uses this calligraphy power to like write down a specific word that is meaningful for them and that allows them to
Cross the
fulfill what
divide.
they were trying to do and cross the divide. Yeah. And just the art of how like carefully they showcase calligraphy in this drama and like how
beautiful. It's really
it has
beautiful.
a whole backstory. It's like it's not just he had to do calligraphy. It has a whole backstory. They explain it. It's beautifully done and it just highlights
meaningful.
this calligraphy. But then also just like the stories told with these ghosts are just so beautiful. And also a highlight is you have a trio of people. You have Pyo Young, who's the main guy. Then you have a cop played by Vivian Sung, and then you have like
his
a
friend,
classmate, like his classmate slash friend, who they like really reconnect after he became out of this coma. Played by Pen Xiang Yu. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing those. Just their chemistry and like how supportive they are of especially our main lead because he has some shit happen to him and like he has some trauma he has to work through. Especially with this like bus crash and everything. They like I just love their trio because they like work together on these cases but also just like work together in resolving his trauma and like supporting each other in life in general. And they have some really comedic parts too where it's just like hilarious watching them. It's just a good mix of like found family comedy, some supernatural stuff. It's just really done well, like really good.
I was gonna say to the point that I've watched it, I think it could get quite heavy at times, but they bring in that comedy to like break it up. And the three of them together are just so funny. They're like a really, really great little trio. So I'm really enjoying it. Like I really, really am. So I will definitely be finishing this one off before the end of the year. I think it's one of those that a lot of people would enjoy it. I think it'll just fly under the radar a lot because it's only available on iQIYI. And if you don't really watch Chinese dramas, then you might not even know what iQIYI is. But this one is one of those that I really do wish a lot more people would sort of tune in because it is a lot of fun, but it's also like pretty meaningful. You know, if you like found family, there's a lot of that in this. If you like supernatural, if you like a little bit of comedy as well, it's like it's a couple of genres in one, but it does it
Mm.
so effortlessly well that it just works. So, and I haven't finished it yet. Like, that's just what I've gathered. I think I've watched 5 or 6 episodes at this point, and that's just, you know, and it is only 12 episodes long as well, I think. So it's a shorter one to watch. So yeah. Are we
It's
back,
mean.
back to
Highly recommend.
Jess?
Back to Jess for my second choice. So my
Yes.
second choice is My Dearest.
I need to watch this
Really?
drama. I need to.
It was very so it's just like you, Caitlin, where you were like, my top 2 are interchangeable. This is the same thing for me because I could have easily put My Dearest at number 1. And
I
felt
was
real
gonna
comfortable with
say,
it.
I
Yeah.
thought you would have gone My Dearest for your number 1.
I adored this show. I think maybe I put it at number 2 because I felt like the writing in the last few episodes was not my favorite. Like it relied on some tropes that I don't think it needed to do. And it felt a lot like NBC, which is the cable network that it aired on, had a lot of sway over the writer who she was said that she's been working on this script for like 5-6 years. And why were they still writing and filming hours before the last couple of episodes aired?
It's wild.
Yeah.
That to me says, oh, the studio, because I talk about movies too much. NBC was demanding changes to me.
Yeah.
That says, oh, she probably had an ambiguous ending or a sad ending or something like that. And they were like, the people will write if you give them a sad or ambiguous ending. You need to make this a happy ending somehow, some way.
Hate it when that happens.
Yeah.
I mean,
really
granted,
do.
knowing it was based off of Gone with the Wind, though.
Yeah.
I was expecting a sad ending.
I was expecting
like
a lot more
ending.
Right.
So.
Exactly. So I fully expected that to be the case. And what was cool about My Dearest was the writing overall amazing, and the set piece is amazing, the acting superb, the love story like all encompassing and life-changing. But because of that, those like little writing things, that's why I put it at number 2. And let me go back, because like the historical aspect of the story and the way that it is a loose retelling of Gone with the Wind, those are the positives. I think it's done really well overall. And the way that this show had me in a chokehold is also why it's so high up on my list, because I would firmly say that I had a My Dearest era this year. Loved covering it on Tebak, the podcast. And I highly recommend it, like, for people to watch. This is the red sleeve of 2023.
Oh, I totally agree with that statement.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Yeah.
See, me and this drama have an interesting story. And I will say, I probably haven't given it enough time. I think from what I gather from everybody, you need to at least check out 4 or 5 episodes to sort of see if you kind of get into it. But like I said, I was in my Ruthless era, and I was like, if it's not giving, then
the audition was quick.
Yeah. So I think I watched maybe episode 1, and I was like, I really don't like this female lead. It's not clicking for me.
That is a big. I talked about that on the My Dearest episode, because
and I know
that's Gone with the Wind to a T.
It's Gone with the Wind. Like, if
Gone
you don't
with
like
the Wind
Scarlett
to
O'Hara,
a T, like, yeah, Scarlett O'Hara starts out the same exact way.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people, have said, she changes, she grows up, the character she is there isn't the character she's going to be by the end. And I get that. I really do. Now, for me, Saeguk is one of those things, and I find this really interesting, actually, because I'm in my historical C-drama era right now. And yet I have never been like a big Saeguk fan. Now,
they're not the same. Look.
No,
I'll be the first to say, I love saguks and I love historicals or costume dramas in C-drama land. They are not the same thing. They are wildly different. Okay. I would never stoop to say that if you like saguks, you're gonna like historicals and
No,
C
no,
dramas
no,
or
no,
vice
no.
versa.
No. I will say though, I did say I was gonna give this another go and a fair shot at, like, you know, at least check out 4 or 5 episodes, because so many of my moots and like people that I trust, so you, Jess, and you like Sarah from K Drama this, are like saying
Yes.
you need to give it like that, you know, if you don't like it by episode 4 or 5, then it's drop it, let it go.
Right.
But give
Right.
it at least that, you know, that amount. So I do plan on going back and like giving it that amount of time and seeing if it works for me.
It's a big, sweeping, large scale drama in the same vein as like Mr. Sunshine, or I don't know, like the Red Sleeve I already mentioned.
I love the Red Sleeve. Like, that's one of my favorites.
That's what the difference
ever.
is this isn't necessarily like a palace drama.
Yeah.
This is down in the dirt with like real people and nobles and peasants and slaves and all the rest. And this is a very moving human story, I think, that it talks about a lot, and you're invested in a lot of characters. And more than anything, you're like, oh my God, are they going to get together? And that was a big part of the puzzle, is that you don't know if these star-crossed lovers are going to make it or not.
Yeah.
The drama really did keep you guessing, and that thrill of seeing them together is what keeps you like moving through each one of their stories, because they spend a lot of time apart, but they're going through shit, let me tell you. Each one of them is having to try their best to survive in a really historically accurate situations.
I will say this is the one drama that I think most people were like DMing me and being like, you need to give it another shot. Like, you need to give it another shot. So it's on my list for, you know, the week that I get off work for Christmas. I'm gonna give it another shot and see.
A lot of people didn't like Kilche, which is like the female lead of My Dearest. And truly, like, that archetype is the Scarlett O'Hara archetype. Like, this person that is annoying and petulant and unlikable, and she's manipulative and childish. And through the course of what it seems like a decade plus in the show, she grows up. She has these really life-changing moments and goes through strife and heartache and learns and grows. And she, by the end of the show, she's totally different. I recently rewatched Gone with the Wind, and by the end of that movie, you're like, Scarlett had it fucking coming. Like, you're kind of still mad by the end of that movie at the decisions that Scarlett makes. And her mentality around certain things. And she's so vain. And you're like, why can't she like get through it and like grab onto something that's good in her life? And that's not the case at all for My Dearest. I feel like part 2 really deviates from the Gone with the Wind playbook. So if that's your worry, if you're like, I don't feel like she's changing, just wait.
Okay. Well, like I said, it's definitely on my list to sort of give it.
Well, and then the chemistry with her and Nam Goon-min are just like chef's kiss.
I've seen the edits. I have
too, and that's why I'm like, I need to watch this drama.
It is like you can cut it with a knife.
Yeah.
I think if you think like the chemistry between the two people in Love to Hate You was really good, chemistry between Lee Do-hyun and Song Hye-kyo in The Glory was good. Perfect Marriage Revenge, that couple, I'm shaking my head like My Dearest is like 211.
Okay. Well,
they're gonna win all the awards.
They're gonna win all the awards.
I'm sure they will.
Yes,
I'm sure they will. So
okay, so that was my second choice. Liliana, back to you.
Now, my second choice is one that I 100% think none of you have watched it. It's, you know, it's a Japanese drama, and it's called Ao Haru, right? And it is a youth drama. It's basically a story about our female lead and our male lead. They go to the same school, and they're kind of neighbors, and he's a very sunny personality. He's, you know, very talkative. Everybody kind of really likes him. And she's the same. They are friends, they've grown up together. And then one day she sort of comes into school and he's gone. Like he's gone. And he's moved away and nobody really knows what's happened. Nobody really knows, what the tea is there. And then she moves to a different, like a couple of years later, she moves to a different school and he's there again, but his name has changed and he's become a completely different sort of person. He's a lot more quiet. He doesn't, get involved in a lot of things. And it's like their story of figuring out what's happened. There's a whole story behind his character and why he's like that. This is season 1, but I think they are definitely connected. Season 2 is coming up, I think next year or something. This is funnily enough a remake of, there was a movie for this, and I believe there was also an anime for this as well. It's called Blue Rai. I can't remember what the English name for it, but I'm pretty sure it's called something else. People do call it by something else, and I'm just trying to figure out what it is. But yeah, it's like Blue Season or something. I think they call it by a different name.
Blue Spring Ride.
Blue Spring Ride, that's the one. So a lot of people, like I said, there was a movie of it, there was an anime, and the reason why I love this so much, it's just one of those youth dramas that it's so easily bingeable. A lot of it is it's all set in high school. I don't mind that. I think the characters themselves were pretty, okay, like they were good for their age. I think you see a lot of different types of characters in that sense. The female lead, it's like the female lead is super curious to try and figure out what's happened, and she just wants to be friends with him again, but he keeps pushing her away for a certain reason. And I think you go through all the other characters. There's this girl that is in their friend group, and she's like very cutesy and everything, and it's kind of like a front that she puts up. I do think like Japanese dramas tend to be a lot darker a lot of the times than any other things. So what you see on the surface of this one is it's a very simple, very cute kind of story, but once you start digging into it, all of these characters have like something behind them that have sort of made them the way they are. I kid you not, I binged this in a single sitting. I sat through and watched the whole thing. I think it's fairly short. It's like 8 episodes in total, I believe. So it's not, 8 episodes, and they're only about 25 minutes. So it's really not that long at all. And it's just one of those. Now, I will say, guys, this is really hard to get a hold of. It's one of those that you have to go to the high seas for, because it's, not really available anywhere. So yeah, but
Are you laughing at my face?
Yes.
Yes.
This isn't a video podcast, so people can't see what my face is that I made. When she said high seas, I was like, say what?
So yeah, and actually I started this one because Becky posted an edit on TikTok.
I bet.
And
she's such a good editor.
She really is. She adores this one. I think she's read the comic that it's based on. Yeah, the manga that it's based on. So she adores this one, and she posted an edit, and I was like, I need to check this out. Like, I need to check this out. So I did, and I was like, oh my god, this is great. I very much binged it very, very quickly. So yeah, that it had to be like my number 2. When I was looking at all the things that I had watched that were not from China, this one was one that I was like, I loved it, I binged it, so that's Al Harurai, or like Caitlin was saying, it's also known as, I've forgotten again. See, this is what happens.
Blue Spring Ride.
Blue Spring Ride, yeah, Blue Spring Ride. And there is, like I said, a season 2 coming up, but it's not like the biggest cliffhanger in season 1. So you can, it's not like, again, it's not one of those where you're desperate for season 2. So yeah. So that's me for my second choice. One very out of left field, I think, because it's one that I haven't really talked about ever on the podcast or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. I like
Oh,
it.
Caitlin, what's your number one drama of 2023?
Ooh.
Okay, so this one, I don't think anybody will agree with me on this.
Oh, whatever. It's your list.
It's
Like,
your list, Jess.
yeah.
Your list.
It's my first 10 out of 10 that I've given to a drama
Ooh.
in like 6 years.
Oh my
It's good.
god.
I don't rank anything high. So it is the Korean drama Oasis.
Oh.
I haven't watched it, so
So one, I might be extremely biased because obviously the male lead is Jung Jung Yoon, who's one of my absolute faves. But I think like the reason why this is a 10 out of 10 for me is like the experience of watching this drama and hoping it goes a direction and then it actually going the direction I wanted it to go was just so much satisfaction that I just like it probably is not a 10 out of 10 drama, but like for me it is because it was satisfying. So if people who did not know, this aired in like March, April era of 2023. It is a historical Korean drama in like the 1980s. And basically, you have two friends played by Jang Dong Yoon, who plays Lee Do Hook, and then you have Choi Chol Wong, who's played by Cho Young Woo. And it's the classic, like, Jang Dong Yoon is like the poor kid who's next door neighbors and best friends with the rich kid. And they are like, it starts in their high school. And basically, Choi Chol Woon, the rich kid, they like, so then you have a girl enter the picture, right?
okay.
And
Holy
her
Now, which
name-
is the second female lead of Business Proposal.
yeah, Selena,
Oh,
and
I
who's
know
also
her.
was in Twinkling Watermelon
Yeah,
recently.
yeah.
So she enters the picture, and they both clearly like her, like both of them,
It's a
And-
love triangle?
sort of, but not really.
Oh.
Sort of.
So they quickly become close friends. You clearly know both guys like her.
Uh-huh.
The problem is like due to the relationship and the caste system that they have in this, because Lee Do-hak's family works for his best friend's rich family. He's always had to, even though he's the smarter one, even though he's the more likable one, even though he like seems to be more happy, he always has to like yield to his friend. So the minute he knows that his friend likes this girl, he can't do anything because his family works for the family. So there could be repercussions, right? Or like the fact that like he could probably be number one student in the school. He can't. He actually has to like not cheat, but like downgrade his grades.
He's
So
pulling his punches.
Sort of, but not like it's a whole family relationship thing. Like his father is making him do this, right? So
he's letting this guy
they're like
win.
extremely poor. Yeah, extremely poor. And they kind of have a love rivalry. But then things happen in their life that causes the rich kid, I'm not going to spoil much, but the rich kid basically does something that Lee Do-hak has to take the fall for. And he ends
Oh
up
my
going to
god, this is
prison.
like Save Me. Have you
It's
seen
like-
that OCN drama?
Yes, but I also compare it to the Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah. Oh,
this
say less. I'm
so-
watching it.
yeah,
I'm watching
so-
it.
Say
I'm
less.
watching it.
So the entire time I was watching this, the minute he went to prison, which is I think like episode 3 or 4, I'm like, this is going to be Count of Monte Cristo. Please let it be Count of Monte Cristo. Like I would love that because it's one of my favorite stories of all time.
Me
And
too.
it literally ended up being that by the end. Like he comes out of, so it spans like years. It starts in high school and it spans of them growing older, college, and then beyond college, right?
Nobody
so-
talked about this show. Nobody.
No one watched this show.
What the
I was
hell
the
happened?
only one who watched this show. I was the only one who liked this show.
Oh,
Which is why I caveated saying I'm probably going to be the only one who likes this drama. So that basically, and then
So he's the Edmond Dantes.
yeah, he's the Edmond Dantes. Like he comes out and because his family's poor, because he has a prison record, he becomes a gangster.
Oh
So
my
it's like him
Lanta.
being a gangster, and then but the twist is the girl never marries the rich kid. So like she's always holding out for the prison guy, and she does her own path, does her own thing. She's a strong woman, like always says no to the rich guy, even though he's consciously like going for her the entire time. His family's horrible, like it's a whole thing. And like that is what I loved, is because I like totally thought it would be the classic Count of Monte Cristo thing, and
Like she'd marry him.
They never married, never had a kid, nothing. And like the ending is a little open-ended, I will say. A lot of people did not like the ending, but I didn't mind the ending though. It wasn't like fully open-ended for me, I guess. Like
okay,
it was kind of like Till the End of the Moon ending. I didn't think it was as bad as other people thought. But that was my own opinion. You might I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything for you.
Do you know, this sounds very angsty.
It's
Which
angsty.
is
It's angsty.
oh,
It's
it's
angsty
right.
as
You're
hell.
talking, you're
It's
talking
angsty as
Jess's
hell.
language
Because
now.
this rich family and this rich kid is horrible. They're horrible people. Horrible people.
I love to hear it. Okay.
And it's just like the revenge and the Count of Monte Cristo.
I literally
of it
just
all.
said that I love
Like,
revenge stories.
He goes to Japan for years because like no one knows
the
he's
Yakuza.
out. Yeah, he joins the Yakuza.
Oh
Like it's
my
a whole
God.
thing. It's so good. And like I think the reason why I loved it so much is the acting is top notch, like across the board, not just my guy, but like everybody is top notch acting. It's the fact that like I wanted this to become a County Monte Cristo story, and it was essentially a County Monte Cristo story. It was just so good, and that's the reason why I gave it a 10 out of 10, and no one can change my mind.
I appreciate you being here and just sticking to your guns and saying, this is why I love the story. Nobody watched the show but me, and I don't care.
Yeah. It was like you're talking about eras. This was an
You
era
have crazy eyes right now.
You're
You're just like
I loved it.
Oh, okay. So I gotta watch Oasis.
It was so
So
good.
Jess is adding that to her list.
I literally am like, it's happening.
Yeah. And you just want to strangle the mean people. Like they're horrible.
Yes. I love that.
Horrible. And it's just like the thing is too, like the beginning, just like Edmond Dantes. Like you know how at the beginning you're like, Edmond, why are you so gullible? Why are you
so naive?
Like, like, why did you go to prison and like come out and think your friend would change? It's the same concept. Like he just think he's so good and he thinks the best of everybody before he goes to prison. He's like,
love that.
I'm gonna go to prison, I'm gonna come out, he's gonna give me what he says he will give me, he'll support me, blah blah. I'm just like,
I'm like squirming in my seat because this is right up my alley. It's just like this is my street.
So good.
Yes.
And it's just like the ending is like, it's satisfying for me. It also was hysterical on like what happened at the ending because it was like, are you kidding me?
Oh no.
Just like
it's just not like, something happened in Bali, right? Like it's not that level.
No,
okay.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
It's just I loved it. And it was really partially because it was the ride. I just loved
the journey.
The ride. And I loved predicting stuff and then actually happening the way I wanted it to happen. And it's just so good. And then they take a classic story and like turn things on its head and like not do certain things to the story. Like I said, she never married the guy, and she was like a strong, like, I'm gonna make my own movie company and save my my family's business, and like she became a businesswoman, and it's just so good.
And not like this kind of abused woman in a trapped marriage.
Yeah. And then the trio, even though the rich kid was like horrible, the trio of them together,
there's something about it, right?
There's something about it. There really is. There's something about it. But
this is you're selling it so hard. I'm into it.
So good. It's so good.
Jess is ready for it.
I'm so like if I didn't have stuff to do today, I would completely go watch Oasis right now. Okay. So it's down to me for
It's on
my
Vicky. It's on Vicky, by the way.
it's on Vicky. Oh, bless you.
It's on
Okay.
Vicky.
So
So
my
and then
number one drama, you all know what it is already. It's Till the End of the Moon.
I
Yep, yep.
mean, I agree.
You agree. So I know a lot of people didn't like it. Like in the months since we did our two-part review on Till the End of the Moon for Tebak, I've realized that people didn't like the writing because of the cuts. Like there was because and we talked about this too on our episode, that it was the stuff was missing because they had to cut it down to 40 episodes.
Right.
They had to cut a lot out of it. Like
They had to cut a lot.
I
Yeah.
think the number that was floating about was that they cut 14 episodes out of it. So
Yeah.
Damn.
you know, that's a lot.
It's a lot. People were feeling it, and I get that. I totally get that. I still think this show is so good, 10 out of 10,
Agree.
and I was completely in love with it, and it was a huge era for me for 2023. I didn't want to let it go. I had such a drama hangover after watching Till the End of the Moon. There were other shows that I was trying to watch, and I was like, I can't even finish this because
I can't get
Till
into
the
them.
End of the Moon is so like it took over my brain, took over my heart. I adore the couple. By Lu firing on all cylinders. Luo Young-shi again firing on all cylinders. And what sucks is that some of the other shows like Bailu's Only for Love was it like and I don't know.
This is a touchy subject.
It's touchy for you. I know because I listened to your episode and I was like, oh Lord, thank God I didn't go watch that one.
Go watch the edits because damn, those two,
they're hot. They're two hot people, and they put them in a room together.
I
mean,
yeah,
they're gonna do stuff, but that's. I'm a plot person. I've said this before.
Oh
too.
no, don't go watch Only for Love. No,
so I can't. In good conscience,
no,
do that. But anyway, long story short, I feel like this was a highlight for both actors for the year, and it is not. What I like about it is that it's not beginner friendly.
Oh, it isn't.
Like a lot of some of these shows that I've mentioned are beginner friendly. I feel like not the glory, but Moving is beginner friendly. Hidden Love is beginner friendly. My Dearest, I don't think is beginner friendly, but Till the End of the Moon, especially, is not beginner friendly, and that's what I like about it. It's gonna reward people that have loved the genre, love these actors, and really appreciate a good angsty enemies to lovers romance.
True enemies to lovers. Like
it's a true enemies, not like they kind of dislike each other and they have some disagreements and they're bickering.
Each other.
No, yes, there's bad blood. It's beef.
Yeah. It's like it's one of those where people like to see, oh, you know, enemies to love. This one is like as enemies as it gets. Like these two would not make it in real life at all. Like
yeah, so it's high stakes, and I love that. It was a tremendous ride. And there was a lot of stuff that you can glean from it, and the costuming and the production, everything was like so good.
I loved it.
That's why I think it was Caitlin's number 3.
Yeah, it was Caitlin's number 3.
Okay, do you want to talk about Till the End of the Moon, Caitlin?
I mean, I agree with everything you said. Like I have mentioned this before on Lilia's podcast. I do not watch C-dramas as they air. So like I did watch this because we did a 2-part podcast.
We did.
I probably wouldn't have watched this in 2023 if I had it. But yeah, it's probably my top Shinsha drama that I've watched. Like it's up there. It was just their chemistry was so good. And this was the first time I'd seen them act together. Like I've seen them both act separately. Or actually, this was my first Lu Yun-shi drama, but like I've seen Bai Lu and other things.
Yeah.
Their chemistry just like it was everything. And then I loved the multiple lifetimes. I loved like the CGI. Like it was just everything about this drama that was just like cherry on top, like just really, really solid, really good. And I'm for one, I'm very picky in terms of angst. Like I like angst, but I can't be watching like all my dramas can't be angst, right? And I was okay with the angst. I love the angst in this one because it just like you like the chemistry so much. You don't
Hmm.
mind the angst because they have chemistry even in the angsty moments. Like
Right.
it just blew my mind how good this drama was.
When I tell you the episode that we guys are recording right now, so you know the where I don't mention any Chinese dramas is
Yeah.
my easy episode because when I record my best of the best Chinese dramas,
Gonna have a tough time.
well,
Yes.
I've already gone from 5 to 10 because I can't do
You
five.
can you're like, I need more spots.
No, no. And even with 10, there's going to be honorable mentions. And
Nice.
I've also decided that I may end up not ranking them because there's just ones that I can't put above the others and where
Hmm.
they're like on par for me. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting, but this one will be in that top 10. There's no question about it. I mean,
Mhm.
I have merch from this drama. So
Right, right.
I mean, I just loved it. I had seen them before because I did watch Love Is Sweet, so I knew their chemistry was going to be insane. If you watch their behind the scenes, they are really good friends behind the scenes. They tease each other like nobody's business, and I feel like that really really helps bring their chemistry forth. I think this could have gone really, really awry because both of them had different characters to play, especially Lu Yunqi. Like he had like
Hmm.
three different characters to play and he
Right.
nailed them
I
all.
will never ever forget that scene where he was like going from when she was kneeling down in the snow to check
Mm,
if he to
Oh.
him going from like complete like not looking like the evil person to looking like the evil person
yeah.
in like
Hmm.
2 seconds
Yeah.
flat. I will never forget that scene
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. So this was just like a really, really good drama. And also, I feel like it was when it was airing. So I watched it while it was airing, and I kid you not, a lot of people there was so much controversy with this drama. There was so much
Yeah.
just chatter. It was constant. This is like I think it's only second, so this is a Yoku drama. Hidden Love is the first one, and then Till the End of the Moon I think comes in second. But this like broke records. It's the most watched Xianxia. It's like it's insane. It's insane, and like numbers don't lie at the end of the day, and I feel like this was just one of those, yeah, big, big moments that I think it will stick with 2023, but it'll go forward and people like who have watched it and who loved it I think it'll stay like in their like top dramas for a while, I think.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yep. So
is it
down
is
to
it
you.
is it back to me?
Back
So
to you. What's your first choice? No C
my
dramas, obviously. Like
no,
we got
no,
to pick
no.
C dramas, but
Yeah, you got
yeah.
so mine's a Korean drama, funnily
Oh,
enough.
oh,
Nice.
It is one that I don't think either of you have watched.
oh.
And I feel like this drama, unfortunately, is one of those that just needs more recognition. So the
Oh,
one
okay.
that I'm talking about is Daily Dose of Sunshine.
I
Okay.
have this on my list because
This
you know my
drama,
boy's in it. So
this drama, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So, for those who haven't watched it, it centers around a psychiatry ward, and our female lead is played by Park Bo Young. And when I tell you, she slays this role. Like I was in awe of her performance in this role. Like it's unbelievable. So basically, she gets transferred from a fairly easy ward to a psychiatry ward. And the thing that they say about her is that she's just like the kind of nurse that will go the extra mile for her patients. But the problem is, because she does that, she kind of like is a little bit slower with her work, and that puts pressure on the other nurses who aren't like that. So she gets transferred to this psychiatry ward. And when I tell you, you get to see a lot of different, stories. Every episode is kind of like a different story for each character within the psychiatry ward. I first of all, they handled the talks really, really well, and they physically like so instead of just physically the actor portraying, they kind of show you what it feels like to be like that. So one of the characters has panic attacks. And what they show you is there's water that starts pouring out of them, and all of a sudden the water just starts rising and rising and rising, and it's like they can't get their head above water. And that's how they like physically show you like what a panic attack may look like, or may feel like, so that we as a viewer can understand what that character is sort of like going through. They talk about depression, they talk about self-harm because of bullying, they talk about all sorts of things. And when I tell you, they do it so well. Park Bo Young, so her story, she's this very sunny person, very positive, but her story takes a turn and it's beautiful. They talk about the prejudice that is held within Korea for people with mental issues, and they do it so well. I think I feel like this drama is one of those that needs to be, I wish it would have been bigger in Korea, because it shows what it's like. And they accompany people, the people go into the ward, and they also show that having a mental health issue is not something that you can win overnight. It is a constant ongoing battle, and people have to choose to keep going that day, in a sense. And they say sometimes they're really good and sometimes they're really bad. But they do it so beautifully. There's like a beautiful found family within like the psychiatry ward of the nurses and the doctors. And at the beginning, there's kind of like a little rivalry between them. But then you really see like just how much they work together and how much they are needed for the, ward to sort of run really smoothly. But then there's also like the nurses, some of them you kind of get to see their backstories. So one of the nurses is younger and her mother is addicted to gambling and just kind of like sponges off her, and there's that whole story and how she's always just worked for her mom, and then like she starts dating someone and this guy just goes, it's okay to abandon your mother, it is okay to walk away. And it's like a really poignant scene where she like for the first time ever she decides to do something. Yeah, and it's beautifully done. Like, there's the mother with 2 kids, and she's juggling being fairly high up in the ward to also doing, having 2 kids. And there's a particular story that comes in where it's like mothers are expected to look after their kids, they're not expected to be working mothers. And she's like, but I want it all. Like, is it bad of me to want the career and to want the children? And they talk about so many issues that I feel like this drama just went under the radar. Firstly, because it just airdropped on Netflix. The episodes are like bang on, I think about an hour or so they're not too long. It's 12 episodes. I binged through the whole thing. Like I think I had about 5 episodes left yesterday, and I sat and I binged through it. I cried. I cried. And what I will leave you with is one of the very last lines of the drama is, it says, all of us are standing on the line between normal and abnormal. And I'm like, I love this. I think they just handled mental health really, really, really well. And this is one of the best performances I've seen from Park Bo Young. Like, I loved her, absolutely loved her in this show. She had to show 2 completely different sides, and it's beautiful. I think it's one of those dramas that really did flow under the radar, unfortunately, because I think it came out, like, again, they airdropped everything, and then it came out when a lot of other big dramas were sort of airing, so people didn't, and I will say, yes, they handle a lot of things, they handle very heavy issues, but there's also like a healing aspect to this show that I really, really enjoyed, that kind of breaks up, that sort of thing. It reminds me of dramas, like, it's not the same, but it reminds me of Korean dramas like Move to Heaven and those types of dramas, where they handle heavy issues and heavy topics, but they do it in a way that you can still get like some healing out of it. So yeah, that's my number 1. I highly, highly recommend it. I honestly loved it. So that's Daily Dose of Sunshine.
I feel bad that I didn't get to watch it. it was on my list of things
Yeah,
to
yeah,
try
yeah.
and finish for 2023 before doing this episode and one other one about like wrapping up and ranking 2023 shows. And the thing is, the as much as I like Park Bo Young, I don't think she's ever like even if she's in a bad show, she's not the the problem with the show.
No, no,
I think
no,
she's
no.
always pretty on point. But I tend to not like medical shows.
Mm.
Yeah.
And K dramas historically have been a little touch and go with mental illness and mental health issues. And there's some shows that do it really well, and some shows that are like, wow, this is really stereotypical. This isn't doing anybody
No.
any favors, and so on and so forth. So and I am one that didn't like what's the drama? Chocolate. Do you know that K
Yeah, I
drama?
do. I do. I wasn't very keen on that one
Yeah,
either.
I wasn't very keen on it, and people were likening this show to Chocolate, and I was
No,
like, you know what? I'm just gonna skip it because
no.
it did
Uh-uh.
it's a episodic as far as like each episode is focusing on a different patient and their
Mm.
issues and healing and all this stuff. But when you mentioned Move to Heaven, I was like, okay, this should be
Right.
better than what I thought.
I would not at all compare it to Chocolate, I don't think. I
Mhm.
watched it. I watched Chocolate, but I didn't really like Chocolate that
It's
much.
just that it was sort of boring, and I know that for me
Yes.
it was boring, but a lot of people really gravitated towards the stories and were really invested in some of these patients and their because it's like end of life care basically
No,
was Chocolate.
that's definitely not the case for this one. This one is like their goal is to get people better so that they can live a good life within their limits. So they're medicated and they can like manage their condition and they can be
Mhm.
like you know, I don't want to say reintroduced into society because that sounds really bad,
Right.
but you know,
But they
so
don't
that they
won't
can
live in an
work.
inpatient facility is what you're
No,
saying.
no, no. What
That the
their
goal is to
goal,
get them out of
yeah,
the
and you
facility.
see a lot of them like go out. You see a lot of them like be good enough to go out. And what they do is they just come in like every week or whatever to have their sessions and whatnot. But
Right.
their goal is to so that people go back out into their lives. And there's like one of the things that they say when a patient is about to leave is, I hope I never see you again. Like
Oh, I
that's their
love that.
thing. So that
Mm.
because they say, well, and actually there's a question, like one of the mothers asks, oh, that's a really odd, you know, sense. Why would you say that? And she's like, because if we see them again, it means that they've relapsed and that they need
Mm.
to be, you know, to be
It's
put back
full-time
into the
care.
ward.
Yeah.
So basically that's what they say. And you see like these characters, they put in the work. There's a story about a guy who basically his him and his wife were really, really happy. They had a baby. They, you know, living their best life. Unfortunately, their baby passed away, sudden, you know, sudden death.
Oh yeah.
And then the wife couldn't deal with it, so she actually commits suicide.
Oh my
And
God. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So that gets heavy. And then he's really, really, really struggling. And like his mental health just like takes a dip, basically. And he's like seeing things because he's the one who found her.
Oh
So
Lord.
he kind of like blames himself for leaving her
Oh.
that day and that sort of thing. So he comes in and it's like they put in the work. They
Mm.
you know, you see the
It's a true
psychologists.
rehabilitation.
Yeah. They see that the psychologists working with them and basically like making them sort of like face their fears almost and things like that. And I
Mm.
really, really loved it. And you get to see a wide spectrum of mental health issues. And I just think I wish this would have been bigger in Korea as well, because it speaks to Korea as a whole. There's one, for example, where one of the characters is so pressured at work that leads to their panic disorder. And it's like he's fairly young in the business corporate world. And it's like he's good at his job. So everybody piles more and more work at him because he's the young one and whatnot. And I feel like it just speaks to a lot of things in Korean society. In
Mhm.
society in general, but in Korean society specifically, like especially like there's a one where the person has schizophrenia and
Mm.
they are apparently in South Korea, they're almost seen as like criminals even if they don't commit anything. And her sister basically
That's the
wants
first I've heard of that.
well
Okay.
well what the show puts it at, like I don't
Okay.
know if that's actually how it is, but what the show says is like that they're almost seen as, you know, criminals in training, so to speak. And from the drama, like, guys,
I'm
I don't know.
offended.
Yeah, guys, I don't know if this is true. I don't know if this is how it is in Korea, so don't come at me. Like, I'm just explaining what the show
Okay, this is the portrayal in the show.
Yeah,
Got it.
this is
Got
the
it.
portrayal in the show. So basically, her sister kind of wants to move into this really nice place, and every single neighbor is giving her a hard time because they don't want her sister who has schizophrenia living in their neighborhood. And it's like, it's that prejudice. They really, really go deep into like prejudice that is held about people having mental health issues, and about how hard that makes it for those people to come forward and seek the help that they need. I just think it handled it honestly so well, and they don't really focus on like the medical treatment aspect of it in a sense. Like, you know, they do touch on it because obviously that's important, but they, you know, I feel like they are trying to get these people as good as they can be so they can manage their condition, and so that they can live like a good life with a managed condition, if that makes sense.
Improve their quality of life.
They humanize these people to
Exactly. That's
like,
exactly
like normal people.
Yeah.
And with normal conditions that I saw. Like, I'm not only do I want to watch this drama because Jang Jun-yoon is in it, but
he
like,
does a really good job. I really
There's
really like
this
him.
is two top dramas of the year for us have this dude in it.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's such
Jang
a good actor.
Dong-yoon.
But I saw the behind the scenes. I think of him because his character's the one with the panic disorder, right?
He is, yeah. His
So I
character's the
saw
one with the panic
behind the
disorder.
scenes on TikTok. I saw a behind the scenes of how they filmed this water scene where like I think it took place in a bathroom.
Yeah. It's a bathroom, yeah.
And they literally like submerged the entire set in water. So
oh wow,
like,
they did a full James Cameron?
Yeah,
like he was like in a stall, and it just like submerged the entire thing. And I just was like, and this was before, like, I knew he was doing this drama, but like I didn't know his character, I didn't know what he was in. I didn't know whether, so I came across this behind the scenes on TikTok, and I'm like, wow, like they did really some work with this drama. Like, I'm really curious if this is what you do with a panic disorder. I wonder like how else would they portray other things in this, and like how would that look? So not only like was he in this drama that I was going to watch it, but like that behind the scenes really got me curious of like what other things they were portraying in this drama and how it would on screen be shown.
Yeah, they do.
It's very impressive, I think. And I recall feeling like that for when you mentioned schizophrenia, this was the first thing I thought of. A Beautiful Mind, that movie, where like you see his delusions, and they're tangible to him.
Yeah.
And so that obviously confuses the audience as well, because you're like, what's real, what's fake? And to me, if you do that for each mental illness, that would really start to affect you and be really impressive to see.
No, I think they handled it really, really well. Like I said, I like it that they did it like almost one case per episode. There's a running line throughout the story behind it, but they kind of do one case per episode. Some cases run a little bit longer than one episode, but they did it in a way that the audience can see. Like, we will never know what it feels like, and they say this, we will never know what it feels like to have that condition, but the drama did a really good job at trying to make the audience kind of empathize and see what it might feel like. So with the panic disorder, it was one that they did really, really well. And actually, they bring back that scene, and I'm not going to say, you know, because that will be a spoiler, but they do bring back that scene, and they do it so well. Like, I loved how that sort of got wrapped up. And they do say, I loved that by the end of it, they don't say you're cured. They don't say that to any of their patients. They say, we're working on it every single day. We choose to work on it. And it's like, that's a beautiful feeling and sense, because I feel like when it touches like mental health, it's, you know, there is no cure. You can work on it, but there is like no certain cure. So I think it did it so well. It's a really poignant story. the acting in it is brilliant. And like I said, I just wish it would have been bigger because it feels like it speaks on a lot of issues. And it's just one of those dramas that I wasn't expecting to like it anywhere near as much as I did. And I adored it, absolutely adored it. So I highly do definitely, highly recommend it. So yeah, that's Daily Dose of Sunshine.
I love
And
it.
Nice.
yeah, it's one of those as well that it has that name and it kind of like gives you one sense of like going into the drama, but it does actually, like, once you actually watch the drama, the name of it does make sense. It does make sense to what the drama is. So that's it, guys.
That's it. That was our top 5.
That's our
Top
top
five.
five. Should we just do a few questions before we go, and
Yeah.
wrap up the episode?
Honorable mentions. We're not doing
Oh,
honorable-
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
sorry. Go ahead. Right, what honorable mentions have you got? I completely spaced.
Go ahead, Caitlin.
Okay. So the only reason my first one's on this list is because I have not finished it yet. But I want it but if I know for certain I will like it when I finish it. So, and it would have been in my top 5, at least for Korean dramas. And that is Moon in the Day.
Oh, I have
okay.
heard about
This
this
is
one.
also a true enemies to lovers. Like,
Mm.
they hate each other. Like, hate each other. But it's just so good. Like, it's angsty. They hate each other. It's so good. It's like, it has the trope I love where it's like, reincarnation / possession / time travel, like it's like it's a trope we've seen a lot in 2023, but
Oh,
this
yeah.
just does it so well and so good.
I loved the poster for this show because I was like, oh my God, this looks super angsty. He's
It's
hugging
angsty.
her and
Yeah.
then but you see his face. So she's kind of turned sideways or away
Yeah.
from the camera. And then he has a sword.
Yeah.
He's holding a
It's
sword
a
behind
revenge
her.
story.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's just,
And I'm like, you know what?
yeah. The only reason that it's not in my top 5 is because I'm not done with it yet. But
yeah. So you
I
don't know for sure.
I don't know for sure, but like I got spoiled on the ending, and I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna love this. So
I swear to God, we get spoiled too much.
I know. Another one that's on my honorable mention is Lies Hidden in My Garden.
Oh, nobody watched that show. I was wondering if you had watched it.
Creepy. It is so creepy. It's a crime drama.
Yeah.
So basically, Lies Hidden in My Garden is about a woman who's married and has one child, I think. Hold on. Let me bring up the.
And it's with the girl from The Glory.
I think it is. I think
Yes, yeah. She plays another woman in this drama.
Oh,
like,
okay.
not like cheating or anything like that. But
just to be clear.
Yeah. So it stars Kim Tae-ri and, as you said,
Kim
Im
Tae-ri,
Ji-young.
yes. Married to Rain.
Yes. So Kim Tae-ri plays this like really wealthy housewife, and she's married to a doctor, and they live in this gorgeous house, like gated community. Like their life seems to be perfect.
Parasite.
Pretty much, yeah. And she wakes up one day and she smells this really strange smell in her garden.
No.
In her
Already
backyard.
I'm like, oh
there's
Lord.
gonna be a body in that garden. I
Yeah.
can see it. Yeah, I can feel
So-
it coming.
This leads to her eventually investigating her husband and meeting Im Ji-young's character.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
so Im Ji-young is a completely different life from her, like a complete opposite. She's poor. She has an abusive husband, suffers from like financial difficulties, things like that. Lives in like a shabby apartment across town type thing. And so the whole show is like this housewife trying to figure out what the smell is in her garden, why it's
Oh.
there, why, and then her husband, the reason why it's so creepy is her husband is basically like
He doesn't
driving
smell
her
anything.
mad. Yeah, like they all say her son, her
She
husband,
said,
everybody says
yes,
like
gaslighting her.
yeah, gaslighting her. Like, I don't smell this. What are you talking about?
I
Because she has
oh
a history of like mental illness and stuff.
oh
And
my
it's like
god.
it is just creepy and you don't know what's right or wrong. Like
Right.
it's like attention filled because like she's really like, am I going crazy? Like, am
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
really going crazy this
Uh-huh.
time?
Wow.
Or and then it's also kind of like a revenge story because eventually these two women gang up and they're like, what that because they due to this circumstances, and I'm really trying not to spoil it, they are connected in certain ways. So
Mhm.
they try to team up and figure this all out at the same time.
Mm.
It's just the tension in this drama is just so good.
Jeez.
So good. It's just really good.
Okay.
Um okay, another one as I mentioned before was Perfect Marriage Revenge.
Yeah.
That was in there. Um and then another one I have on my list is, and it's because it's there, it's here because it's a 2022 drama, is To Sir with Love. And that is a BL slash Lockhorn Thai drama. And it is crazy. It's like,
I
it's,
mean, you said Lacorn. That's all you
yeah,
need to say.
yeah. It's a historical or Thai drama. And it's the it's a BL drama wrapped in a law court, right? So you have this rich family who, like, episode 1, the father finds out his brother is gay and like just basically like throws him out of the family. And this is when the main character, the main son, his son is like 6. So his son witnesses
I
this
think I
and
know
like,
this one.
yeah.
This
And
this is crazy.
yeah.
This is a crazy story. I don't know why I know this.
Yeah, I'm
I
surprised.
haven't
I'm
watched it.
surprised you know,
I
Jay.
don't know who told me about this, but I remember that. I remember the story. Okay, if you want to continue, please do. Please
So
do.
his father and like 5 other families in Thailand like run this major business conglomerate, like not conglomerate, but like they basically run like this guild of businesses. So they're extremely powerful. And the fact that he throws his brother out for being gay, and then his brother ends up killing himself because he can't deal with the pressure and like the fallout, and his boyfriend like leaves him everything. So he kills himself in front of his brother. And then basically like curses his brother. He's like, I hope you like feel how I feel right now,
Oh bloody
basically.
hell.
And then it like goes into the future, and his son Tien is now grown up. He's like a young man, 24, 25. And he basically meets this guy who's not in the powerful family, is a poor guy, and falls in love with him. And so it's their relationship and the drama that deals with that, because you have like this whole family drama of his father having 2 wives, and his mother is just crazy and wants his, and knowing she knows her son is gay and knows the fact that the father will never accept him of that. So she does all this stuff to try to make her son not be gay, and including like almost forcing him marrying a woman, like any woman, like have any like sex with any woman, and it obviously doesn't work out. And then there's the second wife who's her son. She wants to be at the top. She wants to expose the older son for whatever secret he's holding. She doesn't know at the time that it's because he's gay. And so she's awful. Like both of these women, both of these wives are awful. But then what I loved about the drama is the brothers themselves love each other and support each other and are just like wonderful. Like they never, even though their mothers want them to fight against each other, they never do. They and the brother finds out really early on that his brother's gay. And it's just like that relationship is just amazing. And then you bring in the fiance that the guy is supposed to marry, and she supports him being gay too. So they're all secretly like supporting this relationship with this poor guy. And it's just so crazy. And then you add in like this magical mushroom dust.
Oh my
And it's
god.
just like, It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. But the reason why it's on my honorable mentions is because of this brother relationship and
Mm.
because of the chemistry of the main couple and the secondary couple. Because eventually the other brother and the fiance get together and want to marry. So the relationships,
Oh
and
my
it's just
lord.
like the reason was so fun because it was just like crazy to watch, like absolutely nuts. And the
I
fact
like
that the
that.
main leads
Okay.
did another drama together in 2023, which I have not watched yet. But that's how good their chemistry is they did a second
Mm.
drama together already.
Oh.
So that's another honorable mention. I have two more. So
Okay.
another one is Forever and Ever. And the reason why it's in honorable mention is because it is not a 2023 drama. Liliana knows this.
I do. I
Liliana's
do.
shaking her head.
Because I have a review on both of this. It's like
Yes.
one of my favorite Bailu roles. It's
Yes.
so good. You
Yeah.
would be all over the historical part
You
of
would.
this, Jess.
You would, Jess. You really would.
Because
So
it's
for
super
people who don't
angsty.
know, yeah, One and Only and Forever and Ever are 2021 dramas starring Bai Lu and Alan Ren. I love both of these leads. I watched One and Only. It's super angsty, super sad. Like their chemistry is chemistrying. Like it's so good. And obviously it's like really, really sad and
It's
really sad
tragic.
ending.
Yeah, it's
Tragic
tragic.
ending.
I got
So
it.
the
I got it. I'm into it.
Forever and Ever was like the healing modern drama of this. Like it was
Oh,
done in
okay.
two parts, basically.
Yeah.
And
I've heard
it
all about this
honestly
one.
had some sad parts too, the Forever and Ever part. But I just loved seeing the leads together and get their happy ending. And it was just so good. And I should have watched this like when it aired in 2021, but I didn't. I did watch One and Only in 2021. Okay, my last honorable mention is My Journey to You.
Oh,
My
yeah.
Joe, yeah.
Yeah.
Which we did an episode on.
Mhm.
And so I'm not going to talk much about it. You can go listen to our episode. But it's just like
Drama trio.
Yeah.
But again, like I loved all the characters. I love the cinematography. I'm a diehard fan of all of the leads, especially the ones that like were introduced first role drama. Like
Wild.
I love
That's
all
still wild to
absolutely
me.
wild to me. Yeah. Yeah, those are my
Okay.
honorable mentions. Yeah.
Okay, I'll come in real fast with my honorable mentions. DP season 2. I highly recommend everyone to watch DP. It is not a fun watch. It is very intense, every trigger warning as well. But I think it's necessary. I think it's important and it's incredibly well done. Perfect Marriage Revenge. It's fun. It's soapy. It's everything you want in a Makjang. Celebrity, which is so dramatic.
I need to watch that one.
I thought I wouldn't like Celebrity. I freaking ate that shit up. I was like really into it's so petty and it's the dark seedy underworld of influencing culture in Korea, and I don't know how true it is, but it seemed pretty real, and I liked it. I liked it because it was just pure drama. Crash Course in Romance, just because it's real cute. It's an older couple, which I really appreciate, and I like those actors as well. Revenant with my God, I'm forgetting.
No, is it? No,
it's not Kim Tae-ri. It's Kim. Oh no, I'm forgetting her name. It's okay. The female lead from 2521. So she is in it, and it's a ghost story, and it's a possession story, and it's really kind of it's not horror. It's just a little bit thriller, and I liked it a lot.
Kim Tae-ri, yeah, we were
Kim Tae-ri, yeah.
Oh, so okay. Anyway, there's two Kim Tae-ris. That we were talking about in this episode. One's married to Rain and one's not.
One's married to Rain, one's not.
Okay. And then Love to Hate You as well. Really enjoyed that one.
Nice.
Which is on our list.
I want to watch Revenant, but like I don't do scary. I don't do scary.
It's not scary. It's really not scary. I didn't find it scary at all. It was just kind of sort of unnerving.
Okay.
At most, it's
That's
unnerving.
on my list. I'll put it on my list.
Yeah.
List. Okay.
Cool.
So, just to finish up the episode, because I don't have any honorable mentions. Like my list is pretty limited, so I do not have any honorable mentions. So I've just got like three questions to wrap up the episode for us, and one of them is: what tropes or genres would you like to stay in 2023? Like, you're done with them. We need to be moving
I
along.
got it.
Go for
here.
it, Jess. You take the
Tap
I
me in.
question.
already know what she's gonna
I
say.
know what she's gonna say.
I already
So,
know.
let me narrow it down because I don't mind time travel. I do mind past lives. So
Right.
the past lives trope really, I don't think the quality for that one was as high as the time travel, and time travel that's pushing it even. Like, there were only a handful of shows that did it really well. Past lives, I'm not sure if any show did that really well this year. So past lives.
Moon in the
Also
day.
met as children, but that's like a standard. These are standard tropes. What's annoying is that there were so many of them this year,
Yeah.
and they were
Right,
not that
right.
great.
I think
Right.
that's the problem, is that there was too much. There is such a thing as too much of something. And
Yeah.
this year,
Right.
there was just too much of it. So by the time you get to it, I'm like, I'm done. I'm tapping out. Like,
Yeah. And then you start pitting them against each other, and you're like, wow,
Yeah.
this one was better than that one. Or,
Yeah.
oh, wow, these last three were not that great. I don't know if I want to watch this next one. So that's the issue. To me, it was a quality issue, not necessarily a quantity issue, because every year you get past lives stories. Every year you get time travel stories. Every year you get met as children stories. And because of the quantity, you were focusing on the quality.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
Caitlin.
Caitlin.
I don't know. Like, because I love past lives. So, like, I did not mind having that. I didn't watch all of them, though. Like, I didn't, due to the strikes or something, I haven't watched most of the past live dramas. I don't know. I don't really have a trope or genre that I want to stay in 2023. I'm not
That's
really.
cool too. That's cool
Yeah.
too. Right.
What about you, Liliana?
Me? I don't know. You see, because I haven't been watching a lot of the Korean dramas. So I don't know. I will say,
Well,
like
you
I
can
said,
name a Chinese trope. Like, you don't.
yeah, but with Chinese dramas, they've been like, what's the word I'm looking for? They've been quite diverse this year, I feel like. They've been giving a lot of different things. So there isn't necessarily one that I'm like looking and thinking I wouldn't watch that again in, 2023. Say, for example, wuxia, or, like historical kind of dramas. We've had 3 or 4 back to back ones right now. It started off with My Journey to You, and then The Story of Crooning Palace, and then, now A Journey to Love. And they've been like back to back to back dramas, and I'm like, give me more, because they're all like so well written and so well acted that I'm like, give me all of them. So I think that, to me, there isn't, like, I think I would agree with Jess. I would say there was a lot of like past lives in this, and I don't necessarily dislike past lives, but I feel like the quality just quite wasn't there. I'm the type of person, like, give me 1 or 2 in a year that are really, really good over giving me, 5 that are like, subpar. So
Right.
of the ones that I've watched, I don't necessarily, that, or either like, and this is something that I usually like, but for Korean dramas, CEO dramas, leave them. Like, they have not been hitting like they used to.
Yeah.
And so
I agree with that.
Oh, I did think of one. It's not really, I guess, I don't know if it's a trope.
Is it a micro trope?
It could be a micro trope. So, crime dramas, right? I don't think this will be left in 2023. I wish it would. We need better cops.
Oh,
in
yeah.
crime dramas. Like, it's just, but also, like, I'm looking at the drop list that I have, and of the crime dramas, of the Korean crime dramas I have on my drop list, the reason why I dropped it is because I could predict the ending.
Yeah.
I want a
Yeah.
crime drama that's not so formulaic that I know the ending by episode 4.
Yeah, that's
Like,
never good.
And then this might be a me problem, because I do watch a lot of crime dramas. So I just might know the tropes more. I might know the like key
Right.
points of like, okay, we're gonna find out this in episode 5. if this happens in episode 6, that means this is the ending type thing. Like, I've watched so many crime dramas, I can kind of predict that, especially with Korean dramas. So I want to see more creativity when it comes to the crime dramas. It doesn't have to be every single one, but I would like to see some creativity when it comes to crime dramas.
Yeah.
Understood. Yeah.
And that actually leads
Just better writing.
Yeah, better writing. Better
yeah.
writing.
Yeah.
That actually leads quite nicely, because the other question I had is, what are some of your hopes for Asian dramas in 2024? Like, what would you like to see more of? And for me, it's definitely better writing. Bring me those Korean dramas that are just so well written that I'm completely engrossed with. And also, I thought of something for the previous question now, just while I was mentioning this. Can we please, I know it's not going to happen, but can we please leave the splitting of seasons in 2023?
Oh my God. Yes.
It's ridiculous. Like, the most recent one is Death's Game. They released 4 episodes, and now they're going to release 4 episodes in like
For what?
3 weeks.
For what?
Why?
Where's Death's Game airing?
Prime.
Prime, yeah, it's Amazon Prime, yeah. So
Oh.
they dropped 4 episodes now, and the thing is, you either watch 4 episodes now, or you're just gonna be vulnerable to seeing every single spoiler above the earth, because people don't tag their crap.
They don't. So here's my take on that, is that so much of our drama watching is on various platforms like Netflix, Prime, Hulu, Disney Plus, whatever. And because of the last couple of years, the subscriptions are going down for these platforms. And so what little clout that they have and the viewership that they have, they are trying to get away from people unsubscribing to like their platform, and they'll split seasons of shows now just so that people will hang on to the subscription so that they can finish the story a few months later.
See, this is what I like about Chinese dramas. They don't split it. They just give you the next good drama, that, you know, to keep you hanging on the platform. Just give you a good drama. I suppose the thing is, with like Korean dramas, they've become too spread out, you know, in terms of airing platforms. They're on Netflix, they're on Disney, they're on Hulu, they're on Amazon Prime.
Viki and this.
Yeah. So I suppose it's like way harder with that. But the reason why a lot of people swapped from Western dramas to, you know, Asians is because they don't split.
One season and you're done.
One season in, done, you know, next one. And it's just like, it's one of those niggly things that have absolutely driven me. But
and like 2024 is going to be the era of season 2s, because we have like 7 season 2s coming in 2024.
There were a lot of season 2s this year too.
Yeah.
A lot.
I feel like it's the ones that they want to basically, it's just companies wanting to cash in on a good drama. And I feel like that's another thing that will lead to, you know, storytelling being slightly poorer. It's because a lot of these dramas aren't set up for being like 2 seasons, and then they have to be rejigged or whatever to make it, you know, work. Squid Game is exactly that. Like, Squid Game was never intended as a season 2 type of drama, but here we are. Here we are. They've renewed the game show that is based on Squid Game as well. I haven't even watched it.
I don't want split seasons. I don't necessarily mind season 2 if it is
warranted for me.
Warranted.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but if it's warranted, I'm like, okay, fine, I'll allow it. But splitting the seasons, like The Glory, prime example. Why the hell was that split into 2?
I don't even mind split seasons if we don't have to wait 3 months in between. Like, I'm a little annoyed that Death Game split, but at least it's January 5th when you get the last 4 episodes. It's not like March 5th or something. But it also is like, it also needs to make sense on when they split them, right? So like The Glory, even though it was split for 3 months, it made sense on where they split it.
Oh, that's true.
What I've heard in Death Game is like they just
cut it.
Like, cut it, and that's it. Like, it just needs to make sense. I have not watched Death Game. I'm waiting for January 5th, but like from what I've heard, it's just a complete, oh my God, we have to wait 3 weeks. What the hell?
And the thing is, 3 weeks, it's exactly as if they were airing one episode a week, but they
Right.
just chose to like give you 4 episodes now
Exactly.
and then make you wait. And then I would have
Exactly.
much preferred give me an episode a week and then,
Exactly.
rather
Yeah.
than doing it this way. So,
One
but
thing I would love to leave in 2024, I'm not watching the drama, but I feel for anybody who is, schedule your dramas around sports games ahead of time.
oh my God,
So
a good day to
Good
be
Day
a
to
dog.
Be a
A good
Dog
day to be a
does
dog.
not last 3 months when it's only 12 episodes. Like, the scheduling needs to be better
It was
in 2024. Like,
insane.
across the board, whether it's like dropping like Death's Game or going around, because I think the Olympics are in 2024. Like, people need to schedule stuff around stuff ahead of time, like especially major sporting events or whatever.
Like, I started watching A Good Day to Be a Dog and I was like, this is a lot of fun. Like I'm just enjoying it, having a lot of fun. I think I watched episode 1 and 2 and then I was slightly behind and I started seeing like there's a 2 week wait. There's a 2 week wait. And I'm like, done. Like I will wait. I will binge it, whenever it's finished in January. I think it's like the 3rd week of January that it's gonna be done or something like that. But now I'm actually hearing people saying that like the second part is that like not as good as the first part. And I think this drama really suffered from the airing schedule because I feel like
Yeah.
it'll work really nicely as a binge watch, but it will not like work in the case of where you're having, 2 weeks in between episodes. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. So
Scheduling just needs to be better overall.
so looks like we did come up with
Yeah.
way more than one. So what
To answer your question on what are your hopes
Yeah,
for
what are your
Asian
hopes
dramas in
for-
24, I think we've gotten to a point where we like, whether, even though we say in our last question of like there's so many like past lives dramas in 2023, or even in 2022 there was an era of like some of us, I can't remember the genre, but there was in 2022 there was a big trope that went through the entire year as well. There always seems to be one every year, right? But I feel like overall, as the years gone by, we've gotten more like diversity when it comes to stories in general across the board, not just K-dramas, but just everything in general. I would love to see more that, like more diversity, more experimentation, more like I love seeing a pairing of couples, like, oh, this couple is going to be, this actor and actress is going to be a couple in 2024. And I love seeing like, oh, I've never pictured them as a couple. Like,
Yeah.
I've never would have put these two together. Or, oh, that's an interesting cast overall. Like, I never would have thought this person would do this genre. I love seeing that. So I just want to continue seeing diversity in cast, diversity in story, like tropes being thrown on its head, like so on and so forth. And I think we're making strides for that, but again, we also fall back on stuff that don't need to happen too.
Yeah.
But I just want to see that continuation,
Hmm.
that stuff.
For me, I would love to just see better writing in
I'm
general.
the same as you.
Yeah.
And what I mean by this as well specifically is that this year I have found that a lot of K-dramas start off really good and then they just flounder the rest of the midway to the end. It just seems to go downhill completely. I would rather have like a slightly weaker start, but like a good pace throughout and a good
Right.
solid story overall, rather than these really flamboyant, great starts. And then
Yes.
like by episode 5, you're like, what the heck is this? Like,
Mhm.
So that is my main wish for 2024 for dramas in general.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Well, even answer it like in C drama, I this, especially this year with C dramas, I've seen more endings where it's like ambiguous on like interpretation of, and I think it has something to do with censorship. I don't know what it is, but I think it has something to do with censorship where like either if they want the drama to do well, and if they do, they're going to make a second season, so they don't want it to end like a
Oh.
flat thing, or like the audience doesn't want a sad ending, but the writers don't necessarily want to do a happy ending, so they do an ambiguous ending because they don't know how to end it.
I think it's also a lot of the time the dramas that we've seen out of Chinese Dramaland this year, you have to think that a lot of them, basically like 99% of them, they are adapted from books. And the endings, they have stuck pretty much to, what the book calls for. I think that's, a lot of them are that, except like, for example, My Journey to You, not My Journey to You, A Journey to Love, like all of these names, A Journey to Love
Yeah.
is not based on anything. It is a original story. So that
is it?
It is. So everybody's like going, everybody's like, what, that nobody knows what's going to happen because that is an original story. Whereas when you think about Chinese dramas, like 95% of them are all based on books and they've just stuck to,
Well, I think it also doesn't
lot
help
of
that
that.
the censorship people made them go down the 40 episodes.
It's
So a lot of these dramas are already filmed too. So I think that also has a hand in it, where like they did have a set ending, but then they all of a sudden have to cut it down to 40 episodes. And whatever.
I think until about probably midway of next year, will be the last kind of dramas that have been filmed as more and have to be edited down. Like, I think from midway next year, so say like August, I think we'll start to get the next crop of dramas that have been filmed this year that have been already filmed with in mind that they're only going to be able to air 40 episodes. So I feel like the pacing problems that a lot of people complain about in this year, I feel like they will sort themselves out by next year. I think, halfway through next year, when dramas have been planned for 40 episodes. So we shall see. But yeah. So last question to finish this episode on, a good note. As a drama trio, what are you looking forward to as a drama trio in 2024? I'm just looking, forwards to even more conversations with both of you because I feel like we always have a blast. So, I feel like we've got a lot of good ideas coming up. But that's my 2 cents.
I really appreciate being friends with you guys.
Exactly.
So that's just what I love. That's what I hope for more of, I guess. It's just like, we support each other offline so much and we have a lot of fun recording. We love talking dramas to each other and sharing recommendations. And also what I'm looking forward to in 2024 is finally, because I have so many recommendations from you both, is to finally start watching these and talk about them, but, amongst ourselves. And obviously do more episodes with you guys. It is really a fun. This is something that I've always wanted. Like I know I've said this before, but again, I've always wanted drama friends, and now that I finally have them, like it's nice to get together, talk about dramas, talk about shows individually or genres or whatever, and have this as like a record of like our friendship and our relationships together. So it's nice to have it and look back on it.
Completely agree with all of that. All of that. So
I'm just looking forward to the shows we watch.
Oh yeah, no.
Like we have like a list a mile long.
I know.
And I'm really curious of like what we actually will choose and like what the order of that will be.
And you know what? It'll be really interesting because to date, we haven't had a drama that we've sort of reviewed together or that we've talked about that we've sort of really, really disagreed on. It'll be interesting if any
I want
of those...
one. I want one. Like, I love that. Don't get me wrong. When people disagree with you online, it's totally different than disagreeing with
friends.
Like friends. Like then it's even more fun.
To
talk it out and
because
we're not gonna hate it. I'm not gonna hate anybody for their
like
differing opinion, but
you can push it and be like, this is
a truly safe space. Is what I mean.
It was just like me and my just between lovers thing with Becky.
That
was like prime example.
That was funny. I feel like that was a great prime time.
but she said, What do you guys think about? Have any of you guys watched it? What do you guys think about Just Between Lovers? And we were like, well,
if you guys
that instead of just saying my pick is Just Between Lovers.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, guys, if you're listening to this and you haven't heard that, go and check that episode because we had an absolute blast.
Yeah, we're gonna have Becky back.
We will.
Yeah.
We will definitely have Becky back onto the Drama Trio episode. And do you know what? We said we'd keep it 2 hours. We didn't. We didn't.
I knew that.
Dang it.
Maybe one of these days we'll do you know what, at this point I'm just like, it is what it is. Fans know what to expect. Listeners know what to expect from us.
I feel bad, but then I don't.
No,
because I had so much fun.
No,
Yeah,
me too.
exactly.
Me too. So that is it, guys. That is our end of year wrap up. I don't know what else to say. That is it. We've had a lot of fun. Yes. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and we shall see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Want to find an Asian drama community? Then join the Tea and Soju Discord server, where we chat everything from C-dramas to K-dramas to J-dramas. To chat with me, check out any of the socials. Please help the podcast by rating, viewing, and subscribing wherever you listen to help others find this little corner. Lastly, consider joining Patreon to further support the podcast and receive extra content. All of the links are in the episode description. That's it. This has been another episode of the Tea and Soju C-Drama podcast. I'm your host, Liliana, and I'll see you next week for more C-Drama chatter.